At the ancestral land of the Xianxia sect, an invisible and silent aura gradually spread from the inside out, enveloping the sacred ground that once belonged to the arterial blood sect. Deep within a vast ocean of immortal spiritual energy, Jiang Chengxuan's golden immortal universe intertwined with numerous beams of immortal light, forming an exquisitely mysterious and magnificent phantom. Before him, the Tao Progression 10,000 transformation stone was continuously infused with his golden immortal power. The tiny specks of cosmic radiance gathered into a terrifying beam of light that shone persistently within the stone. This power acted like a key, unlocking the treasures sealed inside the stone. As his immortal energy kept pouring in, the stone ignited like refined dark iron, emitting a sacred and brilliant glow resembling a sunstone. Jiang Chengxuan sensed a profound ancient power sealed in the stone for countless ages, now beginning to flow again. This force of time enveloped Jiang Chengxuan. Instead of resisting, he allowed it to expand, forming a mysterious spatial barrier that isolated him from the outside world. At the same time, countless fragments of cosmic Tao paths inside the stone suddenly burst forth like myriad beams of heavenly light, scattering kaleidoscopic brilliance across every inch of space. Under the blessing of these immense forces, all the histories and experiences stored within the stone fully revealed themselves to Jiang Chengxuan. The stone originated in ancient times, having witnessed countless cosmic wonders, undergone innumerable transformations, and been steeped in myriad cosmic laws. For a moment, Jiang Chengxuan was utterly captivated. Every fiber of his being was drawn to the spatial and transformational mysteries created by the stone, his curiosity unquenchable. Secrets of cultivation and Tao progression unfolded before him like ancient bamboo scrolls slowly unrolling. How could Jiang Chengxuan not be entranced, almost intoxicated? Unlike breakthrough pills or other aids, the Tao progression stone did not force a realm breakthrough by its own power. Instead, it was more like a private library built just for Jiang Chengxuan, containing all the knowledge and power needed to ascend into the mid-stage golden immortal realm. Thus, time lost all meaning. Jiang Chengxuan forgot all distractions, greedily absorbing 10,000 years of Tao progress. His aura and immortal power steadily rose, drop by drop, like water carving stone. After handling matters with various sects, Shen Ruyan hurried across the void. A graceful white figure soon arrived at the core of the Xianxia sect, shrouded in immortal mist. "Has it just begun?" she murmured softly. She knew Jiang Chengxuan was seeking a new breakthrough and hurried to see him before his seclusion. However, she clearly arrived too late. Jiang Chengxuan had already entered seclusion. In truth, Jiang had long been immersed deep within his cave, absorbing and refining the Tao progression stone. Because of the stone's temporal power, only moments had passed outside despite Jiang's prolonged focus. Though disappointed, Shen Ruyan did not linger. She soon turned away to continue managing the Xianxia sect's affairs. Meanwhile, in a hidden and unnoticed place, an extremely illusory remnant slowly emerged from the void. It was not a complete form, but merely a vague, indistinct face, its features blurry and ephemeral. At first glance, it resembled nothing more than drifting mist. "Heh heh heh, what a good opportunity," a sinister chuckle echoed. If Jiang Chengxuan or Old Man Yunqi had been present, they would immediately recognize this blurry visage. Its features bore a striking resemblance to Yu Xing de Xian. Would have thought such a thing still lurked hidden in the White Eagle domain. In truth, this remnant was left behind by Yu Xing de Xian himself, a deliberate secret chess move. To ensure it would take effect, he dared not leave much power, only this single face, residing at the very outskirts of the White Eagle domain. During the battle, Yu Xing de Xian was heavily injured by Jiang Chengxuan's broken archaic heaven scroll. At that time, he could no longer bargain or negotiate, immediately fleeing by secret means to vanish without a trace. However, to prepare for future dealings with the arterial blood sect, he still put some thought into contingencies before leaving. This phantom face was a form of residual soul called the remnant soul phantom. It was silent and imperceptible, yet impossible to erase. Though its detection range was small and hazy, it could exist for an extremely long time, endlessly regenerating and fading. For centuries since the Xianxia sect's establishment, Yu Xing de Xian had continually sent commands to this phantom, tasking it to probe the White Eagle domain for information. Still, its reconnaissance was limited and imprecise, yielding almost no useful intelligence. Until today, when the phantom soul coincidentally caught sight of Shen Ruyan's hurried figure, it followed her all the way to this place of seclusion. By chance, Shen Ruyan was too rushed to notice the already well-hidden remnant soul phantom trailing her. Chapter 1907, Dark Current Surge, The Comeback Begins Part 2. By a fortunate coincidence, Yuzing Daxian was overjoyed. At this moment, he had undoubtedly discovered an extremely important piece of intelligence. Heaven helps me, from now on it's no longer my concern, heh heh heh. In the distant Yuzing immortal sect, Yuzing Daxian smiled darkly, his face pale, carrying a sense of relief. With this information in hand, he naturally would not act against the Heoring Chuan sect. What he wanted was simply to wait until the arterial blood demon immortal came seeking revenge, then offer him something valuable enough to appease him. After that, he would avoid any further involvement with Jiang Chengxuan and keep his distance forever. After countless clashes, Yuzing Daxian finally realized that Jiang Chengxuan was a figure he could not afford to offend. Whether it was Jiang's terrifying talent and power, the astonishing methods he possessed, or his mysterious and unfathomable identity, none were things Yuzing Daxian could handle. As a cunning and cruel demon cultivator who thrived by bullying the weak, he understood well the danger of provoking such an opponent. Continued provocation would only lead him to his own death. His two greatest failures in life had both been caused by Jiang Chengxuan. This young man must never be entangled with again. Thinking this, Yuzing Daxian wasted no hesitation. With a thought, he caused the remnant soul phantom outside Jiang Chengxuan's seclusion to begin to distort. The blurred face in the void twisted like a piece of paper crumpled into a ball. Then, with a soft pop, it turned into white smoke and dissipated without leaving a trace. As time passed, the annihilation war between the Yunlin immortal sect and the arterial blood sect gradually faded from memory. People only remembered that long ago, this territory was a hellish place filled with countless cruel demon cultivators. After Jiang Chengxuan and his allies arrived, this land blossomed with vitality, and for a time became a place many ancient realm immortals yearned for. Here, development opportunities flourished. The resources once monopolized by demon cultivators were now revealed again, waiting for discovery. Under the management of Shen Ruyan and others, one immortal city after another rose from the ruins, matching or even exceeding the scale of the former arterial blood demon cities. This was a combined effort of many forces, not a mere exploitative demon city. Under the rule of the Heoring Chuan sect, for billions of mortal beings, it was like a divine kingdom had descended. Originally, countless mortals and beasts in the arterial blood demon realm had been cruelly slaughtered and sacrificed by demons for flesh and blood materials. For them, the arterial blood demon realm had truly been hell. Now, in the Heoring Chuan realm, countless mortals returned to the light and regained their rightful identities. Millions regarded the Heoring Chuan sect as a divine kingdom and worshipped Jiang Chengxuan and Shen Ruyan as saints. Nearly every household placed portraits of Jiang Chengxuan and Shen Ruyan on their altars, offering prayers day and night. Though they had never met them, through word of mouth and the help of other immortals, their legendary images were vividly passed down. Such sincere devotion even generated a mysterious power of faith. Perhaps, at some future moment, this faith might once again contribute to Jiang Chengxuan's cultivation. Shen Ruyan had already faintly sensed this during the sect's continuous growth. Sometimes mysterious inspiration descended, making her feel uplifted. It was like a spring breeze or nourishing rain, bringing unparalleled peace and harmony. Her own realm subtly improved, not dramatically but perceptibly. Yet no one expected that the peace and tranquility of the Heoring Chuan realm would last so briefly. It would be broken so unexpectedly and so soon. Boom! One day, without warning, a pitch-black storm suddenly erupted from somewhere within the Heoring Chuan realm. A surging wave of sinister demon energy burst forth like a volcanic eruption, ascending straight to the heavens. Gigantic cracks spread like spider webs, an eternal night devouring heaven and earth, blanketing a radius of thousands of miles. Even countless stars dimmed in the blink of an eye. Sun and moon lost their light as chaos and darkness churned in the skies. What's happening? No way, that's demon energy. What a terrifying pressure. Who could it be? Could it be that person has returned? The terrifying anomaly came too quickly, instantly tearing the heavens and earth like a scar, leaving devastation behind. Countless immortals in nearby immortal cities were shaken and alarmed. Some cultivators lingering outside the mountains were swept into the calamity and disappeared on the spot. Danger, this power may be a golden immortal, quickly notified Chuan Zunshen. Several city masters detected the abnormality. Heart-pounding with shock, they immediately sent messages to Shen Ruyan and others. They were all profound immortals who had come from various territories to join the Heoring Chuan sect. After selection, they had become city masters, or were originally Xuanming immortals who had followed Jiang Chengxuan and Shen Ruyan into the ancient realm. This scene reminded them all of a story known to every member of the Heoring Chuan realm, though somewhat distant. Could it be the arterial blood demon lord? Has he returned? Someone spoke the forgotten name aloud, causing everyone to gasp in fear and shock. Now everyone here was part of the Heoring Chuan sect. If the arterial blood demon lord returned, none would escape. Activate the city defense array, resist the anomaly. Seeing the increasingly terrifying phenomenon, the land fracturing, and demon light wildly erupting from beneath, the nearest city masters lost composure and issued orders. Countless Heoring Chuan disciples mobilized. Brilliant immortal light surged from the cities. In the void, totems manifested, and invisible barriers rapidly expanded across the heavens. Boom! Soon, the pitch-black chaotic storm swept over hundreds of miles. The sky-darkening demon energy surged like colossal tidal waves, thunder and roars shaking the void. A few powerful elders of Heoring Chuan sect narrowed their eyes, seemingly glimpsing a figure standing at the storm's heart. Yet before they could ponder further, the overwhelming demon energy collided violently with the city defenses, creating a deafening roar that shook the heavens. Then a more horrifying scene unfolded. Where the demon energy passed, space shattered. Even the protective barriers suffered countless cracks and nearly collapsed after a single strike. This sight sent countless Heoring Chuan disciples into icy despair, their eyes bloodshot. Even the city masters were struck by backlash, blood trickling from their mouths. Is it really the arterial blood demon lord? Has he come back? How can this be? With Heoran's patriarch here, how dare he act so boldly? Everyone felt their worst fears had been realized. Such power capable of shattering city defenses was rare even in nearby territories. Combined with the sinister demon energy and the earth-twisting might, the identity was unmistakable. It had to be the arterial blood demon lord. At this moment, his figure stood deep within the storm, stepping on the stars and gazing down upon all living things. His expression was fierce and resentful, nearly spewing flames. This vast territory once belonged to the arterial blood sect, but now it was filled with unknown cultivators. Demon cities had been transformed into strange immortal cities. The demon energy was completely cleared, replaced by the domain known as the Heoring Chuan sect. Chapter 1908, Resolute Defense, A Desperate Battle, Part 1. The hatred of annihilation was implacable. No matter how cold and ruthless the arterial blood demon immortal was, he could not bear to have his old domain forcibly taken without caring. Therefore, he arrived here while Jiang Chengxuan was still in seclusion. This was the arterial blood demon immortal's only chance, even though he was still wounded and not fully recovered. A bunch of damn pests, the arterial blood demon realm is also your doing. At this thought, the killing intent in the demon immortal's heart intensified. Bearing the chaotic cosmos on his back, he looked down on all immortals. His roar, accompanied by terrifying might, echoed across thousands of miles. Sure enough, it's the arterial blood demon immortal. Damn that old monster who refuses to die. Die. Immediately, under the trembling fear of the immortals, he did not hold back at all. From the sky-darkening storm, two massive streams split off, transforming into huge claws crashing toward the immortal city. Boom! With thunderous roaring, the already fragile city defense array could not withstand the golden immortal's power. Under the fierce strike of the giant claws, it shattered instantly, collapsing like the sky falling and earth sinking. City Lord. At the forefront were the City Lord and others maintaining the defense array. They were directly blasted backward, faces pale, spitting blood. The defense array of a city could not last 2 moves against such a powerful figure as the arterial blood demon immortal. However, the demon immortal showed no expression, as if fully expected this outcome. Without hesitation, he waved his hand, terrifying demon energy condensed within the storm. The power of the golden immortal manifested, about to pour into the city at any moment. With this strike, most immortals inside would be instantly wiped out. Stop! Yet just as despair gripped everyone, a powerful immortal light thundered down from beneath the dark sky. Like a sword slash, it cut across the heavens with terrifying might. That is, has Patriarch Haoran arrived. We are saved. Seeing this, countless cultivators in the city were nearly suffocated with excitement. Their spirits soared, like falling from a great height, then suddenly rising again. Under the demon immortal's oppressive aura, they truly felt despair, the feeling of being ants beneath a golden immortal. Boom! In an instant, 9-colored thunder light poured through the void, piercing the demon energy. Immortal light exploded as a figure flashed forth, directly severing the demon immortal's crushing giant claw. This surprised the demon immortal, who was momentarily stunned. However, he quickly regained composure, face unmoved, eyes narrowing. Arterial blood demon immortal, still unwilling to die, are you here seeking death? At that moment, a cold, dignified voice shouted fiercely. Lightning filled one side of the sky. The figure who had just arrived revealed themselves. It was not Jiang Chengxuan, but Shen Ruyan, holding the 9-thunder execution sword. Instantly, the immortal city erupted with cheers. They were inspired by Shen Ruyan's domineering presence. Yet several experienced immortals felt a chill in their hearts, sensing something ominous. HMPH, just a mere profound immortal dares to shout at me. I think you're the one seeking death. Faced with Shen Ruyan's intimidation, the demon immortal did not flinch. He immediately retorted fiercely. Hearing this, Shen Ruyan's heart sank. Her beautiful eyes flashed with lightning as seriousness crept in. After all, her husband was still in seclusion. In fact, when she first heard the news of the possible demon immortal attack, she had a bad feeling. But in this crisis, she had no choice but to come quickly and intimidate with force. Hearing the demon immortal's powerful arrogance, her heart sank even deeper. Ha ha ha! The demon immortal burst into laughter. His eyes red as blood, his demonic voice shaking the heavens. Don't think I don't know that Jiang fellow is in seclusion now. If you think you can scare me, you're too naive. Today, the grudge of my arterial blood sect will be repaid in blood. I will make that Jiang regret for life. His voice grew more hateful, warping the entire world. Under eternal night, countless immortals felt a chill. An overwhelming demonic might press down like a mountain on them. Impossible, Patriarch Haoran is in seclusion, so what about us? This old demon must be lying, how could he know such things? Yes, we cannot trust those demons' words. Patriarch Haoran will definitely come to save us. For a time, because of the demon immortal's words, the entire city was thrown into chaos. Countless immortals whispered and panicked. If Jiang Chengxuan truly was absent, how could they withstand this furious demon immortal? But above the void, Shen Ruyan's face grew ever more serious, offering no rebuttal. Undoubtedly, though the demon immortal did not reveal how he obtained his information. Any attempt to deny it was pointless now. Here, Shen Ruyan quietly produced a purple jade talisman and activated it. HMPH. But her secret move was not hidden from the demon immortal. He sneered coldly and shouted harshly. Looking for that old fool Xianxia to save you, ha ha ha. Don't be ridiculous. Since I dared come here, I have already made full preparations. Today, you all will just obediently die. These words utterly unsettled Shen Ruyan, chilling her heart and constricting her pupils. Xianxia was truly the only hope for this situation. But now, the demon immortal declared his arrival, ensured Xianxia's help was useless. For a moment, Shen Ruyan's sense of crisis soared to its peak. Chapter 1909, Resolute Defense, A Desperate Battle, Part 2. No one had expected that the arterial blood demon immortal would so quickly find such an opportunity to make a comeback. Under such circumstances, the world fell into a long silence. Because of the demon immortal's overwhelming aura and his bold declaration, all the immortals understood what it meant. It seemed that the words of this mad demon immortal were indeed true. Neither Jiang Chengxuan nor Elder Xianxia could intervene for various reasons. If that was the case, then the entire Haoran Xuanzong was nothing but a lamb to the slaughter. They were merely fish on the chopping board, left to be carved up at will. Despair once again spread invisibly through everyone's hearts. The immortals were grief-stricken and had lost the ability to think clearly. Under the terrifying might of a golden immortal, any resistance they could offer was futile. If everything was truly as the demon immortal said, then they had no choice but to await death. Die, I will forge your souls into banners to torment you for eternity. Filled with hatred, the demon immortal felt an unprecedented exhilaration. His eyes glowed red, and he smiled menacingly. He was eager to unleash slaughter throughout the Xianxia, repaying blood with blood. He wanted Xianxia to experience despair and pain firsthand. In an instant, the demon immortals might surge violently. Golden immortal power coalesced once more, and endless chaotic darkness churned within him. Under his command, it transformed into a huge black vortex. The vortex twisted like a tornado, shattering space as countless streams of demon energy flowed wildly, its terrifying power aimed directly at the immortal city where the immortals resided. This immense force nearly pulled the souls of the immortals across space, inflicting unbearable agony. Stop! Among them, Xianxia did not hesitate. She shouted angrily and struck again. Even facing a golden immortal, she showed no fear. Her 9-thunder execution sword bloomed with thunderous light. The power of the Xuan realm surged behind her, fully igniting the sword's might. Before the demon immortal could act, Xianxia slashed forward. A dazzling flash of thunder erupted beneath the pitch-black sky, blindingly bright. Boom! The thunder roared like a dragon's cry. Mysterious thunderlight illuminated cosmic phenomena, like condensed nebulae. This strike was Xianxia's full power, already reaching the level of a perfected Xuan immortal. In surprise, everyone watched as she transformed into a streak of thunder and soared upwards, crashing into the gathering vortex. Instantly, an ear-splitting roar exploded. Blinding lightning pierced the darkness, illuminating the skies above the city and severing the suffocating oppressive aura. Seeking death. This scene shocked the demon immortal. His rage exploded as Xianxia's extraordinary power exceeded his expectations and reminded him strangely of Xianxia. Such a young person with terrifying talent posed a serious threat if not eliminated quickly. Almost without hesitation, the demon immortal waved his massive hand. Golden immortal power erupted fully. The demon energy, condensed to the utmost, crushed down like heaven and earth collapsing. From all directions, it pressed down on Xianxia at the vortex's center. Undoubtedly, this was fatal even for a perfected Xuan immortal. But in that instant, Xianxia felt the power of her 9-thunder execution sword being suppressed at a terrifying speed. Countless immortal thunders were instantly extinguished. Her hard-earned offensive burst shattered, riddled with holes and on the verge of collapse. This was the difference between a golden immortal and a Xuan immortal, utter despair. Even wielding a golden immortal treasure, it was impossible to make up for the difference. Even someone as strong as Xianxia, with several golden immortal treasures, could only maintain parity with a golden immortal at the Xuan immortal level. No, Lady Shen. Seeing Xianxia's lightning extinguish in the vortex, the immortals fell into even deeper despair. Besides Xianxia, Xianxia was the most important figure in Xianxia. To be so easily suppressed and crushed by the demon immortal was unbearably cruel. However, they barely had time to sympathize. Because next, they themselves would die. The crazed demon immortal had come for revenge. He would not spare a single one of them. Boom! Yet just as the last spark of thunder was about to be snuffed out by the demon energy, an unexpected miracle occurred. In an instant from the dark world, an immense and brilliant aura suddenly burst forth. It rivaled the demon immortal's might. The power surged sharply and shot straight into the 9 heavens. At the same time, a dazzling array of 9-colored lights shone forth. They tore through the vortex's chaotic void. The light shook the surrounding hundreds of miles, fully illuminating the area. That is, countless immortals were dumbfounded. They gasped in surprise. Then they saw a magnificent nebula manifest from the darkness. Layers of heavenly light burst forth, tearing open the endless dark chaos, revealing the brilliant deep sky hidden behind. Hiss, how is this possible? Lady Shen has broken through the golden immortal power. Without a doubt, this power also came from Xianxia. Its might was terrifying, already comparable to a golden immortal's. Absolutely horrifying. The next moment, the crowd discerned more details from the dazzling light. At the brightest point stood Shen Ruyan alone. She was bathed in holy radiance. In her hand, the sword fully revealed its true form. A golden immortal treasure. It was truly a golden immortal treasure, one of the attack type. No, that is even her own life-bound immortal treasure. Only thus could such power be unleashed. More experienced elders noticed even more details and solemnly explained. At once, countless immortals within the city were shocked and filled with awe. A life-bound golden immortal treasure. Such a foundation was formidable. Even golden immortal factions could not all afford such artifacts. Damn it, how is this possible? Another golden immortal treasure. Even the demon immortal was stunned and gritted his teeth. He knew Jiang Chengxuan carried 3 golden immortal artifacts, but this sword was not among them. In a daze, he looked at Shen Ruyan, fighting as a Xuan immortal against him. He almost saw Jiang Chengxuan's shadow. The two were so alike, even their fear and shock were identical. This one must not be left alive. The demon immortal's mocking expression faded. His face grew serious. He silently decided to kill without mercy. Without delay, he no longer held back against the terrifying 9 Thunder execution sword intent. In an instant, his dark universe twisted violently. A bone scythe appeared, strange and eerie. It was his golden immortal treasure, the sinister bone scythe. Its appearance marked that he was going all out against Shen Ruyan. 9 Thunder execution sword attack. Shen Ruyan understood clearly. She had no choice but to strike before the demon immortal. She unleashed the sword's full might, slashing fiercely. For the first time, she broke the seal Jiang Chengxuan had placed on the sword. She fully unleashed the power of this golden immortal treasure. Though terrifying and fully capable of matching the demon immortal, the burden was immense. After only the second strike, Shen Ruyan was already struggling to maintain her own Xuan realm aura. But she had no choice. With Jiang Chengxuan absent, she had to give everything to protect Heoran Xuanzong. This was Jiang Chengxuan's hard-won legacy. The collective effort of the Xunaming immortal domain. And her own blood and sweat. She would die without regret. At that moment, as if responding to Shen Ruyan's resolve, the terrifying nebula manifested again. It blazed fiercely. Thunder surged in the deep sky, opening rivers of heavenly energy. It was like the wild fury at the dawn of the cosmos. Chapter 1910, Smoothly Breaking Through the Barrier, Part 1. The pitch-black storm that swept across the borderlands of the vast Heoran profound realm had now reached its most violent climax. Shen Ruyan unleashed the full might of the 9 Thunder execution sword, striking with a jade-shattering resolve, manifesting a nebula-like river of thunder across the pitch-black void, charging directly toward the arrogant blood demon immortal. Seeing this, the arrogant blood demon immortal's expression grew extremely grave, showing no hesitation or restraint. The eerie aura of his bone scythe, standing tall amidst the dark cosmos, surged wildly as waves of demonic light erupted like an endless abyss, unleashing a sharp destructive will powerful enough to sever the universe itself. Within this, he even felt a faint stabbing pain in his body, a symptom of pushing his injuries to their limits before fully recovering. But despite this, the arrogant blood demon immortal chose not to hold back. Facing Shen Ruyan, he was determined to kill. Die. At that moment, heaven and earth plunged into unprecedented darkness. All sound ceased as if the world had momentarily lost its voice. Accompanied by the demon immortal's roar, a violent explosion of thunderous noise burst forth once again. The enormous bone scythe that sliced across the void left afterimages trailing behind as it cleaved the emptiness and descended. The golden immortal power erupted without any restraint, splitting the vast void in two. Where the bone scythe struck, demonic energy and stars alike were severed, even the light itself was cut off. Rumble! Before anyone could react further, the full power of the 9 Thunder execution sword collided fiercely with the sinister bone scythe. 2 golden immortal-grade offensive treasures clashed, unleashing tremendous waves of energy and destruction beyond imagination. In an instant, a massive radiance like a blazing sun engulfed the sky. Countless nebula-like, dazzling thunderbolts densely pierced through the void like a spider web tearing the fabric of space. Following that, boundless demonic light and energy twisted space itself, extinguishing layers of thunderous light. Even from tens of thousands of feet away, the terrifying shockwave slammed down like a mountain avalanche or tidal wave. The great immortal city trembled under the assault. The earth cracked, the sun and moon lost their light, the deep void flickered unpredictably, space fragmented, and the immortal city collapsed. Countless immortals sheltering within the city were blasted away by the force. The towering buildings and palaces, along with the city walls, were effortlessly destroyed, turning into falling boulders. But this was almost equivalent to a battle between golden immortals. With their power, destroying an entire immortal city was merely a casual gesture. Immortal Shen, is she the one fighting the arrogant blood demon immortal? Damn, we're too late. At that moment, the void in the distance suddenly stirred, and two figures wrapped in violet radiance rushed over. They were none other than Yun Tian and Yun Dai from Yunlin Immortal Sect, coming to lend aid. Feeling the terrifying anomaly, they already knew what had happened. Grandmaster just left the sect, and the arrogant blood demon immortal came. This must be their scheme. Their arrival confirmed what the demon immortal had said earlier. At this moment, Elder Yunxi was absent from Yunlin Immortal Sect, so only now did they receive the message and rush to assist. However, the two looked solemnly at the battle unfolding high in the void, feeling powerless. Compared to offering help, their arrival was more like a tragic gesture of solidarity in adversity. If nothing can be done, we will die trying to protect Immortal Shen's retreat, Yun Tian said solemnly with deep resolve. Hearing this, Yun Dai nodded. Their primary purpose for coming was exactly this. Shen Ruyan's importance to Jiang Chengxuan was beyond words. As those who had benefited greatly from Jiang Chengxuan's kindness, risking their lives to save Shen Ruyan was the only way they could repay him. They're coming. Soon enough, the battle's outcome appeared as expected. In the high void, a last burst of heavenly light suddenly appeared, tearing apart the thick darkness and chaos. The lingering shockwaves erupted violently, and a figure was sent flying backward. It was Shen Ruyan, clad in white robes. At this moment, her aura was very hollow, and the profound realm's anomalies no longer sustained. The sword in her hand had already completely dimmed. Obviously, even with the aid of golden immortal treasures, Shen Ruyan could not withstand a true golden immortal. Delaying for even this brief moment was already the best she could do. HMPH, to die beneath my immortal treasure you can be proud. In an instant, the arrogant blood demon immortal was not about to miss any chance to kill Shen Ruyan. Suppressing the chaotic energy within, he let out a cold shout. The sinister bone scythe was thrown out, transforming into a circle of demonic light that tore through the void to slash. Rumble! Then, under the countless immortals' strained gazes, a deafening roar exploded. Space shattered in massive pieces. Where Shen Ruyan was, she was instantly engulfed by the raging demonic energy. Run, Immortal Shen will cover you. But then, unexpectedly, a burst of purple light exploded, a purple moon vision flashing by. Shen Ruyan's figure was enveloped by a purple moon as she flew backward, quickly retreating. This sudden scene shocked all the immortals present. The arrogant blood demon immortal was stunned as well. No one could have imagined that at such a critical moment, someone would dare intervene. Moreover, they chose to risk their lives to save another. Even Shen Ruyan herself had not fully reacted, her eyes briefly blank. But soon she realized it was Yun Tian and Yun Dai who, having received the message, had come to rescue her. Chapter 1911, Smoothly Breaking Through the Barrier, Part 2. However, with just their strength, how could Yun Tian and Yun Dai possibly stand against the arrogant blood demon immortal? As the current pillar of Heoran Profound Sect, how could Shen Ruyan be cowardly and cling to life? This is the grudge between Heoran Profound Sect and them. How can I let you two sacrifice yourselves for me? Almost without hesitation, Shen Ruyan chose not to escape using the opportunity Yun Tian and Yun Dai had created. Instead, she stopped in midair with her last ounce of strength, stood firm, and resolutely said this. I, Immortal Shen. This scene shocked Yun Tian and Yun Dai, who had already prepared to die, their hearts filled with panic and helplessness. They originally thought this timing was perfect, giving Shen Ruyan a better chance to escape. But unexpectedly, from beginning to end, Shen Ruyan never intended to flee alone. If she truly cared only for survival, she would never have appeared in this immortal city in the first place. Good, what a scene of self-sacrifice. The arrogant blood demon immortal even exclaimed good 3 times, secretly relieved. Besides destroying the entire Heoran profound sect, his greatest target was Shen Ruyan. She caused him to feel a respect not less than that for Jiang Chengxuan. If he could not kill her, she would become a huge threat in the future. Fortunately, Shen Ruyan was too righteous to abandon the city and escape alone. Otherwise, even he would find it difficult to directly penetrate Heoran profound sect to pursue her. After all, although Heoran profound sect did not have Jiang Chengxuan, it was still a golden immortal level force. It might have some means to counter a golden immortal, and he was still severely wounded. In that case, then you all shall die. With this thought, the arrogant blood demon immortal grew, even more eager to kill Shen Ruyan. He would not give any more chances. With a sharp shout, he struck again. In an instant, chaotic energy surged through the deep void. The rift in the abyss slowly mended, as tremendous immortal power flowed into his immortal body. The eerie bone scythe's golden immortal pressure returned. Heaven and earth trembled, the immortals gasped, not daring to breathe. The next moment, a cold light flashed, piercing through the sky. It was a slash connecting heaven and earth, aimed directly at Shen Ruyan and the two others. This strike held no restraint. It was the arrogant blood demon immortal's peak attack. Neither Yun Tian, nor Yun Dai, nor Shen Ruyan could block even an inch. The three no longer hesitated over earlier matters. They all faced death fearlessly, ready to resist with their lives. Shen Ruyan's eyes flickered as she gripped the Nine Thunder execution sword tightly. To send Yun Tian and Yun Dai away safely, she intended to ignite golden immortal power once more, even at the cost of her life. She did not want to owe anyone else anything besides Jiang Chengxuan. Rumble. However, at this life-and-death moment, something completely unexpected happened. In that instant, a profound divine light suddenly rose from somewhere, soaring into the ninth heaven. The entire Heoran profound realm was bathed in its radiance, every detail clear as day. That terrifying aura, as if divine will itself, descended into everyone's hearts. That is, everyone was drawn to the aura and quickly turned their heads. Even the world-shattering demonic might before their eyes was completely eclipsed, unable to compete for even a sliver of brilliance. Suddenly, even the arrogant blood demon immortal was shocked, because the aura was so terrifying. Even from thousands of miles away, it shook his cosmic phenomena. As everyone turned to look, they realized the origin of the soaring immortal light. It was deep within the Heoran profound sect. What this meant, everyone guessed with a pounding heart. The arrogant blood demon immortal reacted quickly, his eyes sharpening with ruthless intent. Without hesitation, the eerie bone scythe came crashing down again. No matter what, he had to kill Shen Ruyan. This would not only remove a future hidden threat, but also bring Jiang Chengxuan unbearable pain, fulfilling his revenge. Watch out! Immediately, Yun Tian and Yun Dai shouted furiously, but could not stop what was about to happen. The eerie bone scythe took advantage of their momentary distraction in a ruthless manner. In the blink of an eye, the bone scythe imbued with golden immortal power arrived before Shen Ruyan. Before its sharp intent even landed, it twisted the space around her. At this moment, even if Shen Ruyan wanted to burn her life to awaken the Nine Thunder execution sword's power, it was impossible. In just one breath, she would perish. I originally planned not to pursue you, but you insist on courting death. Just then, a familiar cold voice echoed through the void. Its indifferent killing intent suddenly cooled the entire Heoran profound realm by several degrees. With a flash of golden light piercing the deep void, a glorious sacred hand instantly appeared. It carried an irresistible sealing power, and in an instant, intercepted and grasped the eerie bone scythe. Immediately the scythe, only a palm's distance from Shen Ruyan, halted. It was as if a heavenly moat blocked its way, forbidding it from advancing even an inch. Despite the arrogant blood demon immortal grinding his teeth and using all his strength, his cosmic phenomena shaking violently behind him, and waves of immortal power flowing into his body like heavenly rivers, he was powerless. It's Taoist Jiang. He's here, he's finally here. Heoran Patriarch, the Patriarch has broken through his barrier. Ha, we're saved, the Patriarch is invincible. At this sight, countless immortals in the ruined immortal city were revitalized. Their despair vanished, their faces flushed with excitement, tears moistening their eyes. Not only did the arrogant blood demon immortal recognize the voice, but everyone knew whose voice it was. This was the legendary figure of the entire Haoran profound realm, the existence that shook the ancient realm. Damn it, that damned guy wasn't supposed to be in seclusion. At this moment, the arrogant blood demon immortal suddenly regretted everything. Fear surged inexplicably in his heart. He wanted to recall the eerie bone scythe and leave immediately. But even that he could not do. Under the control of the golden hand, his innate treasure could not be moved at all. Perhaps he should never have come to seek revenge. Perhaps he should never have greedily attacked Shen Ruyan after the divine light appeared. But it was already too late. Nameless fear spread through the arrogant blood demon immortal's heart. His eyes bulged as a shining immortal wind suddenly swept through the world. A towering figure abruptly appeared between heaven and earth. He seemed to have gathered all the spiritual energy of the universe, standing tall bathed in holy light. His expression was calm, his gaze cold. He had already become the focus of the entire world. No one could ignore his presence. Even heaven and earth seemed to suffocate and become peaceful and serene. Yet faintly, an extreme destructive intent brewed. It was completely tied to his thoughts. With a single thought, the universe and all things would change. Husband. At once Shen Ruyan trembled all over, her beautiful eyes shaken, and she lowered all her guard. Who else but her husband, Jiang Chengxuan, could this be? Clearly, at this crucial moment, Jiang Chengxuan had successfully broken through his barrier. His arrival instantly took control of everything in the Haoran profound realm. How is this possible? You took that step. Impossible. What shocked the arrogant blood demon immortal even more was the terrifying aura he felt from Jiang Chengxuan. His eyes turned blood red as he roared in disbelief, his expression growing pale and twisted to the extreme. Only a few hundred years had passed. Facing Jiang Chengxuan again, the aura he sensed was completely different. Compared to his previous respect, now facing Jiang Chengxuan again, he felt fear and panic. This was caused by the suppression of realms, a truth beyond words. Do you understand? Then you may die. Chapter 1912, Slaying the Arrogant Blood Demon Immortal, Part 1. The battlefield changed in an instant, catching everyone off guard, leaving them deeply shocked and stunned. In the vast void, Jiang Chengxuan's figure bathed in sacred light stood with a calm gaze, yet limitless killing intent. Having absorbed the power of the doubt-transforming 10,000-year stone, he completed his transformation from early golden immortal to mid-stage golden immortal. He had been in high spirits, but the moment he broke through seclusion, he immediately sensed the terrifying demonic aura here. With his intelligence, he needed no further thought to understand what had happened. Swiftly and decisively, he unleashed a terrifying method to traverse thousands of miles of void, arriving at this realm to block the arrogant blood demon immortal and save Shen Ruyan. Even for him, this was a heart-stopping, nerve-wracking moment. What use was breaking through to mid-stage golden immortal if Shen Ruyan fell before his eyes? Jiang Chengxuan would never accept it and would regret it for life. This near miss was almost a catastrophe. If he had been a mere breath later, the sinister bone scythe would have fallen, causing Shen Ruyan's demise. How could Jiang Chengxuan not be furious? Understand now, then you may die. Seeing the arrogant blood demon immortal realizing the gap between them, Jiang Chengxuan coldly pronounced his death sentence. Without hesitation, to vent his rage, he waved his hand. Behind him, a dazzling golden immortal cosmos manifested like a vast ocean, covering the sky and blocking the sun. Supreme divine radiance descended upon every inch of the void. The whole world was set aflame, rising with nine-colored immortal mist. This cosmic phenomenon displayed overwhelming pressure in a domineering fashion. In an instant, the chaotic cosmos belonging to the arrogant blood demon immortal was compressed. Where the two universes intersected, violent waves surged, immortal light roiled, and thunder rumbled endlessly. The two golden immortal powers used this as their battlefield, like two world wills eroding one another, shaking heaven and earth. But now, Jiang Chengxuan was no longer the man he once was. With his killing intent rising, the sacred light in his cosmic phenomenon became piercing. Thousands upon thousands of rays surged upward, as if countless golden suns were hidden within. Immediately, the balance between the two universes broke. Terrifying golden light like a sword cleaved through the chaotic darkness, cutting it into countless shards. Without any flashy tricks, Jiang Chengxuan brutally suppressed the arrogant blood demon immortal. At once, the latter's face grew even more ferocious. His blood-red eyes trembled, his whole body shaking. The arrogant blood demon immortal was already severely wounded. Having forced out his power to suppress Shen Ruyan and the Nine Thunder execution sword, facing Jiang Chengxuan, whose realm suppressed him, how could he resist? Feeling his dark cosmos forcibly torn apart by Jiang Chengxuan, his aura destabilized. His whole body trembled, sensing a sealing force invading within. Sacrifice. Jiang Chengxuan showed no mercy. With a cold shout, countless eternal manifestation talismans flared and appeared, spreading throughout the dark cosmos like a starry map. In the blink of an eye, these sacred powers turned into golden needles piercing the darkness, turning it into deathly silence. Even the flow of immortal power was cut off, as if shattered into countless fragments. Egg. The arrogant blood demon immortal let out a painful roar. His demonic light surged wildly, flickering. Faintly, golden needles seemed to pierce from within his body, tearing him into 1,000 wounds, blood flowing like a river. All this happened in an instant. There was no time to react. Jiang Chengxuan, with overwhelming force, crushed all resistance from the arrogant blood demon immortal. Look, the arrogant blood demon immortal is injured. Is this the power of the Haoran patriarch, so terrifying? In just a blink he suppressed a golden immortal. What kind of power is this, could it be? Only now did many immortals fully realize what had happened. The sky and earth changed color. The arrogant blood demon immortals' wailing stirred their hearts. Everyone whispered and gasped. In their imagination, a battle between golden immortals must be fierce and terrifying, destroying heavens and earth. They expected Jiang Chengxuan's fury to wage a relentless war, shaking the sky and darkening the earth. But unexpectedly, before they could watch, the fight was already over. No such catastrophic scene appeared. Jiang Chengxuan's thunderous strike had already subdued the arrogant demon. Even the arrogant blood demon immortal himself was hopeless and shattered. When he learned Jiang Chengxuan had broken through to mid-stage golden immortal, everything was already over. Against mid-stage Jiang Chengxuan, even his prime condition was no match, let alone now. But no matter how much he thought, he could not understand how Jiang Chengxuan had accomplished all this. How could he have broken through realms continuously in such a short time? Such extraordinary fate and opportunity, how could Jiang Chengxuan have obtained them so easily? Why? Why? Desperate, the arrogant blood demon immortal's eyes burst with rage. He shouted defiantly at the heavens, unwilling to accept his fate. In the next moment, fueled by anger, he unleashed all his strength to the extreme. His demonic light was forcibly expelled, surging upward. The dark cosmos suddenly roiled. Beneath the black veil, it seemed a strange beast was about to tear open the void. HMPH, suppress it for me. Jiang Chengxuan responded with only a cold snort, pressing down with both hands as heaven and earth obeyed his will. Chapter 1913, Slaying the Arrogant Blood Demon Immortal, Part 2. Countless rays of the Eternal Manifestation Sutra scriptures burst forth like a giant net, tightly enveloping the dark cosmos. That sacred and domineering power struck the arrogant blood demon immortal like a heavy blow, causing his whole body to tremble violently. Suddenly, countless wounds erupted across him, with scorching holy light piercing through his body, blazing fiercely. At the same time, the arrogant blood demon immortal began to burn intensely. He was nailed to the void by Jiang Chengxuan's Eternal Manifestation Sutra, struggling and twisting helplessly. The sacred golden flames burned both his soul and body, inflicting excruciating pain as if being slowly dismembered. This scene stirred both excitement and dread among countless immortals. One must understand, the arrogant blood demon immortal was a formidable golden immortal, once renowned throughout the ancient realms. For such a being to be tortured like this, stripped of all dignity, how cruel. In fact, if Jiang Chengxuan had only fought to defeat him, he wouldn't have resorted to such torment. However, the arrogant blood demon immortal had taken advantage of Jiang Chengxuan's seclusion to sneak in and attempt to destroy the entire Haoran realm, massacring countless lives, even planning to kill Shen Ruyan right before Jiang Chengxuan's eyes. Such acts had crossed Jiang Chengxuan's bottom line, truly igniting his rage. Rumble. For a moment, heaven and earth fell into deathly silence. Only the arrogant blood demon immortal's screams and the rumbling of his suppressed golden immortal cosmos persisted relentlessly. Everyone forgot time itself, their eyes locked on the dazzling firmament in stunned silence. who had ever witnessed such a scene. A golden immortal tortured to death like this. Gradually, the attention spread beyond the ruined immortal city, with countless immortals directing their gaze here to witness this terrifying, shocking spectacle firsthand. This event shook the entire Haoran realm to its core, causing innumerable immortals' hearts to shatter in disbelief. No one knew how much time had passed. The void gradually fell silent. The all-covering chaotic darkness became a pitch-black deep pool. The arrogant blood demon immortal was long silent, but the blazing golden flames continued to burn as if never to extinguish. Brilliance once again illuminated this land, with starry radiance supreme and sacred, suffocating in its majesty. Jiang Chengxuan stood aloof, bearing the entire cosmos on his shoulders, truly embodying what it means to be above a golden immortal. The arrogant blood demon immortal was dead, utterly dead. Already severely wounded, he had forced his strength once again. His life-saving measures had been exhausted the last time. Greedily attempting to kill Shen Ruyan before leaving had angered Jiang Chengxuan. This was his sin and cause of death. Jiang Chengxuan showed no emotion. At some unknown time, the arrogant blood demon immortal had ceased to be regarded as a rival. With a gesture, he gathered the golden immortal cosmos that had belonged to the demon. It shrank continuously until it became a fragment of the cosmos, which Jiang Chengxuan pocketed. Under the eternal manifestation sutra's sealing power, it would be continuously refined until rendered ownerless. At the same time, Jiang Chengxuan retracted his own golden immortal cosmos, restoring peace to heaven and earth. The burning golden flames extinguished, reducing the arrogant blood demon immortal to dust and ashes. A sovereign of territories, a ruler of the ancient demonic sect, a golden immortal cultivator, thus disappeared from the world. Many immortals present side at the impermanence of life and death. It all came down to a single thought. Not long ago, the arrogant blood demon immortal could have wiped out millions with a wave of his hand, but now Jiang Chengxuan's wave of his hand erased the demon. The Patriarch's heavenly might, invincible in the world. The Patriarch's heavenly might, invincible in the world. The Patriarch's heavenly might, invincible in the world. Moments later, seeing Jiang Chengxuan and Shen Ruyan stand close together, those in the ruined immortal city and countless cultivators watching from afar all suddenly snapped back to reality, shouting loudly, unable to restrain their reverence and admiration. All right, I have reapplied the sealing formation. This time was truly perilous. Madam, you absolutely must not risk yourself like that again. Deep within Haoran Realm's sect, inside their cave dwelling, after dealing with the arrogant blood demon immortal, Jiang Chengxuan and Shen Ruyan comforted the people of the immortal city, then returned here to recuperate. Jiang Chengxuan re-engraved the Eternal Manifestation Sutra scriptures onto the Nine Thunder execution sword, making some adjustments, then sternly admonished Shen Ruyan, his eyes showing reproach. Hearing this, Shen Ruyan seemed to realize that her recklessness was unwise, responding obediently, a stark contrast to her previous demeanor before all the immortals. Seeing this, Jiang Chengxuan softened and did not press further. He understood what she was thinking, why she acted so. With Haoran Realm as their foundation, they finally had a foothold in the ancient realm. Just then Jiang Chengxuan continually sensed that subtle force. When he first broke seclusion, busy suppressing the demon, he had not noticed carefully. Now, with calm returned, he felt the aura continuously seeping from the unknown. Madam, do you sense it, that power? Jiang Chengxuan changed the subject and asked Shen Ruyan. If he guessed right, she should have a similar perception. You mean the power of merit and faith? Indeed, as Jiang Chengxuan expected, upon hearing his question, Shen Ruyan immediately understood what he referred to. Yes, I did not expect that after destroying the arrogant blood sect, there would be such an unexpected boon. Jiang Chengxuan smiled, shaking his head with satisfaction. After toppling the arrogant blood sect and stabilizing the entire arrogant blood demon realm, this power of merit and faith had been quietly brewing in the shadows. The power of merit and faith is a mysterious existence. In ancient times, it was a profound cultivation method leading to immortality. But as more people ascended to immortality, relying on merit and faith alone became increasingly difficult. After all, only so many beings can generate sincere belief and merit. Only those with true, heartfelt faith can generate this power. Thus, this ancient immortal path gradually fell into legend. Unexpectedly, overthrowing the arrogant demon realm and establishing Haoran realm gave Jiang Chengxuan a new path. because the demon sect ruled the White Eagle territory for many years, committing countless atrocities for centuries. Under their reign, billions suffered and died. It was no exaggeration. Thus, Jiang Chengxuan and Shen Ruyan, as the founders of Haoran realm who overthrew the demon sect and saved billions, naturally earned their heartfelt faith. This was not done intentionally, but simply from their earnest desire to restore order, nurture life, and build a foundation, unintentionally benefiting countless beings. Such honor, even Yunlin sect and Yunxi elder lacked. Even though Yunlin sect ruled Liyun territory for long, earning true faith from all beings was not possible by authority alone, but required fate and chance. With this power of merit and faith, the late golden immortal stage is just around the corner, Jiang Chengxuan murmured thoughtfully. Countless beings lived in the Haoran realm. This terrifying power of merit and faith exceeded his imagination. Especially after slaying the arrogant blood demon immortal, news spread throughout the realm, shaking countless forces and kingdoms. As the source of all evil in the White Eagle territory, the arrogant blood demon immortal's fall naturally brought tremendous shock. Immortals and mortals alike were amazed and sincerely convinced. Chapter 1914, Ancient Golden Immortal, Secret of the Cave Mansion, Part 1. After ending the life of the arrogant blood demon immortal, the entire arrogant blood sect truly vanished from the mortal world. When this news spread throughout the ancient realm, it undoubtedly shocked many factions. All of them began to pay even more attention to the strength and foundation of the Haoran Xuanzang sect, especially those neighboring the White Eagle territory and other ancient domains nearby. They could no longer ignore this colossal force suddenly rising next to them. Its rise took only a few hundred years, yet Haoran Xuanzang was built upon the death of a single golden immortal. This alone was enough to make all factions respected deeply. One must understand that the last concrete news of a golden immortal's death might date back tens of thousands of years. This fact alone shows how shocking it was that Jiang Chengxuan slew the arrogant blood demon immortal. What was even more astonishing was the word of mouth from those who witnessed the battle. Jiang Chengxuan suppressed the arrogant blood demon immortal effortlessly, crushing him head-on with an overwhelmingly domineering posture, all within just a moment. This news stunned many top-level figures across various factions. They speculated on many possibilities, but ultimately came to a terrifying conclusion. Jiang Chengxuan had very likely broken through to mid-stage golden immortal. Chengxuan, my young friend, I am late, nearly caused a great disaster, sigh. At Haoran Xuanzang, the elder Yunxi had hurried back as soon as he returned to the sect, coming to apologize to Jiang Chengxuan and Shen Ruyan. Elder Yun, do not blame yourself. It was that arrogant blood demon immortal's cunning and madness. I didn't anticipate it either. Jiang Chengxuan met the apologetic Yunxi at the Grand Hall, and certainly didn't truly blame him. However, this did not erase Yunxi's guilt, as his face remained filled with worry. Sai, it's all because I was careless. Knowing you were about to enter seclusion, I was still drawn by the news. The three exchanged greetings as they walked deeper into the magnificent hall. The day when elders Yun Tian and Yun Dai risked their lives to assist us, our Haoran Xuanzang is deeply grateful. Elder Yun, there is no need to feel guilty. Seeing this, Shen Ruyan spoke up in support, and upon hearing this, Yunxi's expression softened considerably. Indeed, the efforts of Yun Tian and Yun Dai on that day had truly lived up to the alliance between their two sects. Thus, only then did Elder Yun set aside his emotions and began recounting the situation of that day to Jiang Chengxuan and the others. It turned out that the arrogant blood demon immortal had tricked Elder Yun through means related to the ancient golden immortal's cave mansion. The former had used some unknown method to cause an anomaly in the ancient golden immortal's cave mansion. Inexplicably, Elder Yunxi had sensed something from this. Because of this, Elder Yunxi could not remain still and left Yunlin Immortal sect to investigate the ancient golden immortal's cave mansion again. After all, the mystery of that ancient golden immortal's cave mansion and the disappearance of the golden immortal's enlightenment in the anomaly last time had left Elder Yunxi with lingering dissatisfaction. I see. Having heard Elder Yunxi's account, Jiang Chengxuan finally understood and realized everything. As if to prove himself, Elder Yunxi did not stop after explaining the cause but continued. This time, during my investigation of that ancient golden immortal's cave mansion, I truly made some discoveries. Oh, Elder Yun, could you please tell us? This remark piqued Jiang Chengxuan's interest. With his current abilities, if he were to enter the ancient golden immortal's cave mansion again, it certainly wouldn't be as humiliating as last time. Moreover, he was indeed somewhat curious about the whereabouts of that golden immortal's enlightenment. Even if he had already broken into mid-stage golden immortal, that treasure would still be invaluable. Of course I can say, this is truly an astonishing discovery. Only now did Elder Yunxi's expression relax, smiling as he spoke. His purpose in coming was essentially to bring this news to Jiang Chengxuan as a way to express his apology. Naturally, Jiang Chengxuan and Shen Ruoyan showed even greater curiosity. Surely something worthy of being called astonishing by Elder Yun, she wouldn't be something trivial. This time, when I went to that ancient golden immortal's cave mansion again, I discovered that what we previously thought to be the core area was likely not the final layer of the ancient golden immortal's cave mansion. Without holding back, Elder Yun she revealed his astonishing news. Upon hearing this, Jiang Chengxuan was truly startled, his eyes shining brightly. This news was far from ordinary, making him faintly sense something. Then, as Elder Yun she continued to narrate in detail, Jiang Chengxuan and the others finally understood the full situation. That day, Elder Yun she left Yunlin Immortal sect and followed the sensation to the ancient golden immortal's cave mansion. Along the way, he also encountered Elder Tianjian, who was similarly drawn by the sensation. This was one of the reasons Elder Yun she had lowered his guard. That peculiar sensation did not only appear to Elder Yun she, but to everyone who had been to the ancient golden immortal's cave mansion. It was just that Jiang Chengxuan was in seclusion at that time, and had thus shielded himself from the sensation. After arriving at the ancient golden immortal's cave mansion, Elder Yun Shi and Elder Tianjian both found the source of the sensation, coming from a gap. Together, they entered through it and found themselves inside the core universe. However, unlike before, they sensed a far deeper aura. At once, the two realized that, after the previous deep space anomaly, the ancient golden immortal's cave mansion had changed again, revealing its hidden true form, another world within. But before the two could continue their exploration, the familiar deep space anomaly began anew. Chapter 1915, Ancient Golden Immortal, Secret of the Cave Mansion, Part 2. The two tried to delve deeper, but were eventually forced to retreat the way they came. After waiting for some time and seeing the gap fail to reopen, they had no choice but to return. It seems that the arrogant blood demon Immortal had some method to open that gap. Jiang Chengxuan pondered after hearing Elder Yun Shi's full account. Hearing this, Elder Yun Shi's expression turned resigned as he said, "Most likely, but that old demon is dead now, so all we can do is wait. Moreover, with our current strength, we may still be insufficient to explore the true core of that ancient golden immortal's cave mansion." After these words, Jiang Chengxuan and Shen Ruoyan fell silent, just as Elder Yun Shi said, perhaps there was no immediate way forward. "Jiang, my young friend, I've heard that you have already broken through that level." After a moment, Elder Yun Shi spoke again, not about the cave mansion but with some doubt asked. My recent seclusion was precisely because of this matter." Jiang Chengxuan did not hide the truth from Elder Yun Shi and admitted it directly. "Ah, young friend, you truly make this old man ashamed." Receiving Jiang Chengxuan's confirmation, Elder Yun Shi involuntarily drew a breath and expressed both admiration and helplessness. He had long known Jiang Chengxuan's extraordinariness, but never expected that in just a few thousand years, this young man would surpass him in cultivation. It felt like a dream. If not for witnessing it personally, Elder Yun Shi might have thought Jiang Chengxuan was a reincarnation of some ancient great being. Otherwise, how could the golden immortal bottleneck be as fragile as a thin sheet of paper for him? One must understand that these golden immortals had been trapped at this level for tens of thousands of years, unable to advance an inch. Very well, since that old demon has been subdued by you, perhaps we can finally live in peace. If there are further anomalies in the ancient golden immortal's cave mansion, maybe you will have a way to deal with them. As for this old man, I'm probably no longer strong enough." Elder Yun Shi said no more, finished recounting the matter, then stood up and gave a final sigh. He did not linger but took his leave. Standing at the hall entrance, watching Elder Yun Shi's figure fade away, Jiang Chengxuan remained deep in thought. Husband, could it be that the arrogant blood demon immortal possessed a method to open the ancient golden immortal's cave mansion? Clearly Shen Ruoyan guessed Jiang Chengxuan's thoughts and softly asked beside him. That's exactly what I'm thinking. When suppressing the arrogant blood demon immortal, Jiang Chengxuan had crushed him with absolute power, preserving about 70 to 80% of his treasures. Now that Elder Yunxi mentioned this, Jiang Chengxuan grew interested. He had not yet explored the demon immortal's storage ring. Perhaps it contained something related to the ancient golden immortal's cave mansion. Soon, Jiang Chengxuan and Shen Ruoyan eagerly entered the cave mansion. Amidst a mist of immortal light, Jiang Chengxuan took out a ring. The ring was exquisitely carved with totems depicting a chaotic dance of myriad demons, forming a scripture of its own. It radiated a deeply evil aura, even though its owner had died. Jiang Chengxuan attempted to open it with his immortal power, which triggered a burst of demonic light shooting toward his forehead. HMPH. Prepared for this, Jiang Chengxuan coldly snorted. The ancient eternal sacred scripture manifested on his arm, translucent as fine jade, shining with holy light that swallowed the demonic glow instantly. Then his golden immortal power enveloped the demonic ring in his palm. Fine runes like roots of grass slowly pierced into the ring. Still, the demonic ring refused to yield. The myriad demon totems carved on it came to life instantly, their eyes cruel, hungry to devour. However, Jiang Chengxuan remained expressionless, continuing to flood it with binding power. The dense scripture became countless chains, locking all the demons inside. After a moment, golden and demonic light clashed in his hands. Finally, accompanied by a cracking sound, Jiang Chengxuan broke the ring's seals. "Well done, husband." Seeing this, Shen Ruoyan couldn't help but smile and praise. She knew this process looked easy, but without Jiang Chengxuan's profound strength, it would have been impossible. This demonic ring was the entire fortune of the arrogant blood demon immortal. Its seals, even in a golden immortal's hands, were not easy to break. Of course, the demon immortal's death was one reason Jiang Chengxuan could break it so easily. Otherwise, the owner could have sensed the attempt and fought Jiang Chengxuan remotely. Buzz! In an instant, the demonic ring fully opened for Jiang Chengxuan. With his immortal power merging into it, a vast space appeared. Inside the storage ring, one could immediately see piles of various resources stacked like small mountains, immortal medicines, materials, and some immortal crystals. But Jiang Chengxuan had little interest in these and quickly skipped ahead to continue searching. Then appeared some strange demonic treasures and numerous puppets. Their faces were twisted and agonized. They were former enemies of the arrogant blood demon immortal, tortured and turned into puppets. Evil and crooked ways, they deserved to die. Frowning slightly, Jiang Chengxuan didn't hesitate. He used the eternal sacred scripture's power to liberate those puppets from their suffering. Some ancient books of the arrogant blood demon immortal, demonic arts and techniques. These must be a few of the sect's treasured immortal artifacts. Continuing to inventory the ring's contents, Jiang Chengxuan found some valuable items near the center of the space. Though demonic arts were useless to him, their value was considerable for auction. Also, the 3 immortal treasures previously traded back by the arrogant blood demon immortal had fallen into Jiang Chengxuan's hands. A golden immortal's collection was understandably rich. Even though the demon immortal lost much during the demon gathering, he still left behind a solid foundation. "Wife, these things are just right for your cultivation." Jiang Chengxuan carefully picked some useful items for Shen Ruoyan. These were treasures the demon immortal had plundered, meant to be used by the sect elders for cultivation. "Thank you, husband." Without hesitation, Shen Ruoyan accepted them, smiling like a pure celestial maiden. Jiang Chengxuan's cultivation had taken another step forward, and Shen Ruoyan naturally needed these resources to catch up. Got it, could this be it? After searching a while longer, Jiang Chengxuan finally found the object he had long been longing for. It was a strangely shaped stone tablet, inscribed with complex ancient text, radiating an extraordinary aura. This object was clearly not from the demonic sect, but of golden immortal level and very likely had been obtained by the arrogant blood demon immortal from the ancient golden immortal's cave mansion. These scriptures are somewhat similar to the eternal sacred scripture, both ancient artifacts. Jiang Chengxuan made a new discovery that excited him even more. Though he could not fully read the ancient text on the tablet, he could roughly infer its meaning. This truly is a record of opening the ancient golden immortal's cave mansion, but it's severely incomplete and nearly uncontrollable. Focusing intently, Jiang Chengxuan studied the scripture for some time and soon grasped its true form. However, its content made him feel both happy and worried. Reciting this scripture could indeed summon the ancient golden immortal's cave mansion and open its doors. But the scripture was incomplete, so it could neither guarantee opening nor determine its location. Under these circumstances, if one truly wanted to open the cave mansion, perhaps they could only recite this scripture day by day, until by some stroke of luck, the timing would be right. That old demon had luck to open it, could it be that I do? At this, Jiang Chengxuan couldn't help but think, and a surge of confidence rose in his heart. Chapter 1916, Flourishing Prosperity, Xianxia Sect, Part 1. With Jiang Chengxuan's talent, he quickly comprehended the steel scriptures that the Arhat blood demon immortal had obtained within the ancient golden immortal cave. Although the text was incomplete, it still possessed the power to open the ancient golden immortal cave. Therefore, trusting his usual streak of good luck, Jiang Chengxuan told Shen Ruyan, and then eagerly began to activate the power of the scripture. Beside him, Shen Ruyan waited quietly, a look of anticipation shining in her eyes. Suddenly, from the depths of the cave, an intensely scorching aura began to rise. The space around Jiang Chengxuan gradually twisted, faintly radiating a blood-red glow. This power was not overwhelmingly strong, yet it gave off a feeling of life continuously flowing without end. As Jiang Chengxuan continued to activate the scripture's power, he felt himself drawn into a dark, lightless world. Beyond the endless darkness, a crimson blood sun blazed fiercely, burning eternally. At this moment, Jiang Chengxuan understood that this was precisely where the ancient golden immortal cave was located. Although separated by thousands of miles under the scripture's power, he successfully sensed its presence. However, this was only the first step in opening the ancient golden immortal cave. Jiang Chengxuan did not stop but focused his mind, chanting the scripture. The sound hummed like the metallic notes of an ancient qin, echoing throughout this space. The sound was extremely faint but profoundly deep. Jiang Chengxuan could feel that, within this boundless space, the sound seemed to extend infinitely forward, eventually reaching that blazing crimson sun. This was the entire process of resonance. It seemed there was nothing else he could do but continue chanting in this mysterious place, waiting for a response. However, to Jiang Chengxuan's surprise, luck did not favor him this time. At first, he chanted patiently. Even after thousands of repetitions, there was still no response, only a stagnant pool. Unconsciously, Jiang Chengxuan even felt that his chanting times might have surpassed those of the Arhat blood demon immortal, yet still, no reply came. Seems a person can't always be lucky. In the end, Jiang Chengxuan had to admit with some reluctance that he probably wouldn't succeed for now. "Don't worry, husband. That treasure will just stay in the cave," Shen Ruyan smiled gently, comforting him. Hearing this, Jiang Chengxuan could only laugh helplessly. Fortunately, after carefully studying the scripture again, he received another piece of good news. Activating this incomplete scripture consumed so little of his energy that it was almost negligible. In other words, even during his regular cultivation, he could continue chanting the scripture and call upon the gate of the ancient golden immortal cave. After learning this, Shen Ruyan and Jiang Chengxuan settled into a peaceful and steady cultivation routine. They delegated the sect's affairs and spent long periods inside the cave to cultivate. At the same time, with the rise of the Xianxia sect, they accumulated what could be called an enormous amount of cultivation resources. Now was the time to transform these into advancements in their realms. Especially for Shen Ruyan, as long as she wished, the resources of Xianxia sect could support her cultivation for tens of thousands of years. This was precisely why Jiang Chengxuan was determined to build a golden immortal level power on his own. Compared to when they were in the Arhat star domain, this was a complete world of difference. Under the operation of the entire Xianxia sect, the resources of the entire Beiying domain would flow into their hands. Considering the vastness of the ancient realm, the scale was terrifying, enough to sustain the cultivation of hundreds of perfected immortals. It could meet the daily cultivation consumption of tens of millions of Xianxia sect disciples. For a long time afterward, under Jiang Chengxuan's prestigious name, Xianxia sect flourished vigorously, comprehensively developing into a golden immortal power with deep foundational strength. Jiang Chengxuan and Shen Ruyan, since the battle suppressing the Arhat blood demon immortal, had never appeared again. 100 years, 300 years, 700 years, 1,000 years, they cultivated within the cave using all kinds of resources. Whether it was immortal pills or cultivation treasures such as the Nine Wonders Bodhi Lotus Lamp, nothing was held back. Meanwhile, as Heoring Chuan sect progressed with each passing day and generation, their number of believers in the Beiying domain exploded. Because the greater the influence of Heoring Chuan sect in the Beiying domain, the more mortal cultivators would benefit from them. The more mortal cultivators who benefited from Heoring Chuan sect, the greater the influence of Jiang Chengxuan and Shen Ruyan became. This formed a cycle. Heoring Chuan sect would grow stronger and stronger without end. One could imagine how enormous the power of the merit and faith Jiang Chengxuan and Shen Ruyan received was. Eventually, it reached a degree that neither of them could ignore. In the mysterious void, that invisible power infiltrated and blessed them every moment, merging into their immortal power, helping their immortal energy condense. As a result, the Xuan realm and the golden immortal universe were also affected, with countless tiny streams converging into a sea, forming a terrifying and unique mysterious power that was everywhere. Without a doubt, this allowed their cultivation to advance by leaps and bounds, entering an inconceivably fast pace. With accumulated resources, treasure blessings, personal talent, and the power of merit and faith, almost every method to aid cultivation was utilized by Jiang Chengxuan and Shen Ruyan. When the first millennium passed, Shen Ruyan, under Jiang Chengxuan's protection, broke through to the late perfected immortal realm. Chapter 1917, Flourishing Prosperity, Zhitian Xuan Sect Part 2. Jiang Chengxuan had long since stabilized his position at the mid-stage of the golden immortal realm and began to gradually accumulate new progress on the path of immortal Tao. However, the only flaw was that the fragment of the ancient golden immortal cave scripture never responded and did not open the cave. It seemed as if the cave was stubbornly opposing Jiang Chengxuan. No matter how many days and nights he chanted the scripture, it refused to exert its power. In response, Jiang Chengxuan could only feel helpless. There was nothing else he could do. But after such a long time, he had already adjusted his mindset. The power of merit and faith was far greater than he had imagined. Jiang Chengxuan believed that even without external support, relying solely on this power, he would not face many obstacles breaking through the mid-stage golden immortal realm. The more merit and faith power he absorbed, the more extraordinary he felt it to be. That power originated from the beginning of heaven and earth, extremely close to the source and perfectly pure. At the same time, it had an invisible effect of shaping the universe and refining space. This was a fundamental change from the roots. Even someone originally incompetent, with the addition of merit and faith power, would quickly become a cultivation prodigy with sharper comprehension of the heavenly Tao. Moreover, Jiang Chengxuan himself possessed extraordinary talent and had undergone countless profound transformations, almost like a sacred body. Perhaps in the distant ancient times, many great beings were like sacred bodies, precisely because they relied on the power of merit and faith in their cultivation, achieving such remarkable results. In short, the longer time passed, the less anxious Jiang Chengxuan became. After all, everything he was doing, establishing the Heoring Chuan sect and opening the ancient golden immortal cave, was ultimately for cultivation. Currently, this was a perfect opportunity for intense cultivation, so he decided to go with the flow and wait patiently. Unconsciously, another millennium passed. These 2,000 years were the golden development period of Heoring Chuan sect, continuing until it reached its peak without any lack of strength. In the ancient realm, Heoring Chuan sect had completely risen to prominence, becoming a huge and powerful existence. Wherever its disciples and elders went, they enjoyed the envy and respect of other immortal sects. Gradually, some prodigies of Heoring Chuan sect began to shine brightly within the ancient realm, making a name for themselves. Among them was Yuan Han, an old friend who had followed Jiang Chengxuan to the ancient realm. After Heoring Chuan sect rose to fame, he completed his travels and returned here. One day, Jiang Chengxuan and Shen Ruyan received and welcomed Yuan Han. Compared to before, he was undoubtedly more weathered but had become steadier and had reached the pinnacle of the celestial immortal realm. The three chatted warmly, reminiscing about the past and sharing their experiences. Finally, Jiang Chengxuan entrusted Yuan Han with a heavy responsibility again and helped him break through to the perfected immortal realm. Meanwhile, another major event forced Jiang Chengxuan and Shen Ruyan to step out once. At that time, a delegation arrived in the Beiying domain, claiming they wanted to recruit disciples and offer an opportunity to Heoring Chuan sect. Normally, Jiang Chengxuan would have ignored such matters. However, he did not expect that Elder Yunqi would come forward to explain this matter for him. It turned out that the recruiting delegation came from an even more ancient force in the ancient realm called Xianxia sect. Their strength was unfathomable. It was said that the sect had several golden immortal level existences. Their ancestor was a legendary figure above the golden immortal level, a mixed origin great Luo golden immortal. This sect only recruited true prodigies. They would send delegations to roam various domains to find disciples. No matter the background, as long as one had talent, they could become disciples of their sect and rapidly rise in the world. In the past, there was a nameless small sect whose disciple was recruited by Xianxia sect. After tens of thousands of years, that disciple returned with the power of a golden immortal, suppressing a domain and bringing a great gift to the former sect. Moreover, this was not an exception. Under the terrifying foundation of Xianxia sect, almost all chosen disciples would later become powerful figures in the ancient realm. Therefore, whenever a delegation from Xianxia sect appeared, many immortal sects would compete fiercely to send their disciples there, hoping for a great opportunity in the future. This time, Yunlin immortal sect sent many precious treasures and a few disciples into Xianxia sect. Only then did Jiang Chengxuan understand why this mysterious delegation was so arrogant. Young friend, although these people are very arrogant, Xianxia sect is definitely not a sect that seeks fame without substance. Elder Yunqi seemed to have seen through Jiang Chengxuan's thoughts and said this to him. Jiang Chengxuan nodded, not doubting the truth of Elder Yunqi's words. The world was vast and full of wonders. Although a golden immortal force was strong, it obviously was not the top of the ancient realm. Xianxia sect was merely a leading force among golden immortal powers. However, these sects were mysterious, and it was often very difficult to come into contact with them unless one reached that level. Since Elder Yun says so, I will let the interested disciples in my sect give it a try. Jiang Chengxuan thought carefully and finally chose to let things take their natural course, neither interfering nor obstructing. After all, for the current Xianxia sect, such an existence was still somewhat feared and not to be made enemies with. Moreover, having disciples favored by Xianxia sect was not a bad thing. Otherwise, Elder Yunqi would not have sent his own disciples there. Although officially recruited as disciples of Xianxia sect, in reality, they did not require severing ties with Xianxia sect. Instead, certain contracts were made, and after a set period, Xianxia sect would no longer manage the disciples. This approach was glorified by Xianxia sect as a selfless contribution to cultivate strength throughout the ancient realm. In truth, by letting disciples return to their domains, it greatly expanded their influence and invisibly controlled larger territories. Therefore, under Jiang Chengxuan's order, the entire Xianxia sect was undoubtedly stirred up. They had heard of the legends of Xianxia sect before, but this time they truly faced them. Immediately, many confident disciples volunteered to give it a try. Unfortunately, the requirements to join Xianxia sect were extremely high. Not a single disciple from dozens of immortal cities succeeded. On the other hand, when Shen Ruyan went to handle related affairs, she amazed the entire delegation of Xianxia sect. They repeatedly persuaded her to join their sect, only stopping with great regret when they realized she was the wife of the Xianxia sect's patriarch. Interestingly, after this matter, some disciples of Xianxia sect began to be selected as nominal disciples of Xianxia sect. This made the entire sect excited. Many immortals congratulated Xianxia sect. Jiang Chengxuan himself remained calm. After all, this was just an exchange of interests, which he understood very well. Previously, unlike other immortal sects, he did not offer gifts to the delegations, so the requirements were strict and none were chosen from dozens of immortal cities. Later, after seeing Shen Ruyan's talent and confirming the bright future of Xianxia sect, the people from Xianxia sect lowered their stance and began seriously recruiting disciples. By the time the delegation left, Xianxia sect had 3 disciples selected. This established some contact between the two immortal sects. Of course, this did not mean that all the most talented disciples of Xianxia sect were chosen. In reality, the top 1 or 2 most talented disciples were usually kept with various conditions. For the very top disciples, whether they joined Xianxia sect or not did not matter. With the resources of a golden immortal sect, supporting them was never a problem, and the precious treasures were sufficient. Only those prodigies who had to struggle and were suppressed by the top tier chose to try their luck. Because staying in Xianxia sect meant they would always be trampled by the best. They might as well try their luck in Xianxia sect to see what opportunities they could gain for a meteoric rise. Chapter 1918. All Immortals Gather, Re-entering the Deep Space, Part 1. After a long period of cultivation and waiting, one day, the response Xianxia had been eagerly anticipating finally came. At that moment, as Xianxia was circulating the celestial spiritual energy of heaven and earth, he suddenly trembled. He sensed within his sea of consciousness a point of red light rapidly igniting, flickering continuously, radiating a brilliant and domineering scorching aura. Over these past thousands of years, Xianxia had lost count of how many times he had chanted the fragmented ancient scripture, but everything had been as still as a dead pool, completely unresponsive. If it weren't for the precedent of the ancient golden immortal cave, opened by the arrogant blood demon Immortal, Xianxia might have doubted whether the scripture was truly effective. Fortunately, effort always yields reward. The opportunity Xianxia had been waiting for was finally arriving. Despite the unimaginably vast distance, Xianxia sensed the presence of the ancient golden immortal cave, and at this moment, it became extraordinarily clear. Its outline appeared vividly within his sea of consciousness, resembling two mountain ranges merged in the void, one above and one below, forming a gigantic conical shape. Xianxia, having entered the ancient golden immortal cave before, knew that this cone's outermost layer was composed of a vast mountain range of celestial medicinal herbs, forming an enormous herb garden. Further inside lay endless deserts. At the very core was the region of deep space and the universe itself. Sure enough, there's more hidden within, Xianxia murmured to himself. Judging from the outline at the very bottom layer of the deep space universe, there truly existed an unknown region. Without much hesitation, Xianxia retracted his circulating immortal energy and dispersed the surrounding gathered immortal mist. He left a message to Shen Ruyan, who was still cultivating, then burst forth with his golden immortal power and stepped through the void. The last time he ventured to the ancient golden immortal cave, Xianxia still needed the guidance of Elder Yunxi. But today was different. Now, he could soar alone above the 9 heavens, traversing space, speeding through the boundless universe at an incredible velocity towards the ancient golden immortal cave. This time, unlike before, Xianxia opened a breach in the ancient golden immortal cave, not the main entrance. After a moment, he appeared within a star domain rather than the desolate realm of the cave. Amidst this chaotic star domain, a crimson breach about 2 zhang, approximately 6.6 feet, in size was conspicuously visible, emanating an aura of destruction, resembling a shattered red crystal, profoundly deep. The blood-red liquid was thick and still writhing, indicating the gate was not yet fully stabilized. After some thought, Xianxia did not rush inside, even though he had waited long and felt some impatience. Whenever faced with a major event, maintaining a calm and composed mindset was best, so Xianxia steadied himself. After all, he already possessed a rough map of the ancient golden immortal cave, which was an enormous advantage. If he acted too rashly now, others following the signal might arrive soon, so it was not wise to be reckless. However, Xianxia did not know that because he personally used the scripture to open the breach. He was able to sense it immediately. Others who could detect the breach's presence would have to wait until it was fully stabilized and formed. Buzz. Thus, when the blood-red gate fully opened and the mysterious waves rippled outward, Xianxia was still the only one present in this star domain. Though puzzled, he no longer hesitated or felt wary. His immortal energy surged fiercely as he plunged into the gate. After some more time passed, the faint sense finally fully released, passing through the invisible space and spreading to the 4 corners of heaven and earth, alerting Elder Yunxi and the others. At once, they were all shaken in their hearts. They, too, had awaited news of the ancient golden immortal cave for thousands of years. In an instant, several golden immortals simultaneously departed from nearby territories, crossing the void and rushing toward the breach Xianxia had opened. For them, the signal was extremely vague. If luck was poor, it might take some time before they could successfully locate it. Once re-entering the ancient golden immortal cave, Jiang Chengxuan's eyes beheld only desolation and silence. Apart from the scorching red light at the breach, the entire realm was like a pool of dead water without any ripple. Sparse, scattered stars had long lost their residual heat. Under the previous terrifying deep space cataclysm, many more stars had shattered into fragments, becoming a menacing meteor belt in deep space. The space here had become incredibly fragile. Perhaps it had been completely destroyed before, and after thousands of years of slow recovery, it had only barely returned to this state. After escaping the deep space cataclysm, Jiang Chengxuan did not know when it would finally cease. But such terrifying power was enough to understand the extent of the destruction it caused. Buzz. Yet before Jiang Chengxuan could dwell on these thoughts, as if responding to him, the boundless deep space universe suddenly erupted with a shocking fluctuation. A mighty wind swept through, spreading from the center of the cosmos and shaking the entire world. At a time like this, you react quickly. Jiang Chengxuan's body trembled with a chill, helpless but somewhat resentful, murmuring to himself. The next moment, the deep space ushered in an even more terrifying mutation. The void twisted like ripples on water. The crackling sound of fracture as the fragile space tore apart, creating cracks everywhere. Instantly, chaotic energy surged forth, invading the heavens and earth, obscuring the faint remaining starlight. Chapter 1919. All Immortals Gather, Re-entering the Deep Space Part 2. No sooner said than done. Just as Elder Xianxia predicted, upon sensing Jiang Chengxuan's entry, the deep space universe erupted once again with that terrifying mutation. The shocking impact arrived as promised, crushing the void and sweeping through chaos with a power rivaling that of a golden immortal. A mighty tidal wave thousands of feet high surged forward, sweeping across the entire realm. HMPH. But Jiang Chengxuan was no longer the same as he was thousands of years ago. Facing the relentless onslaught that had once forced him into retreat, he let out a cold snort. Without any unnecessary movement, he condensed his golden immortal power into a protective barrier and stood firm. The earth-shattering aftershock slammed down, instantly engulfing Jiang Chengxuan's figure. The surrounding space shattered bit by bit, yet he stood like a sharp blade, forcing the impact to split and flow around him, one wave to the left and one to the right. It was as if this force deliberately avoided Jiang Chengxuan, unwilling to directly clash with him. Throughout it all, Jiang Chengxuan's expression remained calm as he strode forward through the tidal wave. The rushing flood split apart, a huge circular shockwave severed cleanly by his sheer will. Still, he did not linger in triumph. Having diffused this attack, he knew even stronger waves would come one after another. His immediate priority was to reach the center of the deep space universe and find a way to descend to the unknown lower layers. With that in mind, Jiang Chengxuan unleashed his immortal power, transforming into a streak of golden light, darting forward like lightning. At his current speed, surpassing that of years past, he could cross an entire star domain in an instant. Buzz. Yet just as this happened, something unexpected occurred. Suddenly, after only a few breaths, the second wave of impact burst forth abruptly. An even more terrifying force swept through the still unsettled space, stirring chaos and striking fiercely. Hello? Jiang Chengxuan was taken aback, narrowing his eyes and letting out a sound of surprise. Without a doubt, when he previously fled the mutation alongside Cloud Sky and Cloud Earth, the frequency of these destructive shocks could not have been this terrifying. Otherwise, escaping the mutation would have been impossible for them. No wonder Elder Yun and Elder Sky Sword couldn't stay long the last time. At last, Jiang Chengxuan understood why Elder Yunxi and Elder Sky Sword had been driven out despite working together. The current severity of the mutation was simply overwhelming. Jiang Chengxuan sensed that these waves inherited the strength of the previous ones, each impact more ferocious than the last. He was now the third batch of people entering, which was why such a commotion was triggered. Rumble. Regardless, such power could no longer scare Jiang Chengxuan. In a flash, his figure barely paused. His sacred golden light exploded, and he transformed into a golden star, directly crashing into the chaotic impact. With deafening roars, two golden immortal powers collided, erupting a dazzling burst of immortal light that soared skyward. Simultaneously, the chaotic universe began to shift in a way Jiang Chengxuan was very familiar with. The shattered space twisted wildly, as if countless vortices were silently pulling at heaven and earth. A sense of disorientation instantly filled every inch of the void. Extreme darkness descended like nightfall, swallowing all light and leaving no distinction between sky and earth. During this mutation, the deep space manifested in two forms: lost darkness and blood-red light. Either form would relentlessly corrode anyone trapped inside. 10,000 worlds manifested sacred scripture, activate. Without hesitation, Jiang Chengshuan unleashed his full strength. Behind him, his golden immortal cosmos manifested a faint aura. Massive golden light bursts erupted, and countless golden runes pierced through the darkness like dawn's first light. In an instant, it was as if several great suns and 9 linked stars had risen behind him. Their divine radiance clashed fiercely with the encroaching dark corruption, causing the heavens and earth to tremble violently. Having broken through to mid-stage golden immortal and approaching late stage, after thousands of years of cultivation enhanced by various powers, Jiang Chengshuan had reached new heights. His terrifying might no longer required hiding in this bizarre realm. The restraining power of the 10,000 worlds manifested sacred scripture surged violently, clearing the surroundings abruptly. The twisting lost darkness was forcibly smoothed and suppressed by the brilliant light and restraining power, opening a firm path forward. This was truly astonishing. Even Elder Yun and Elder Sky Sword, working together before, could only cautiously explore in the darkness, never so forcefully commanding it as Jiang Chengshuan now did. Fully focused and free of distractions, Jiang Chengshuan spread the 10,000 worlds manifested sacred scripture like a scattered star network, flowing forward as a flood, compressing the lost darkness step by step. Only when he sensed a tremendous pressure did he cease pushing further. Bearing the golden great suns, he continued toward the deep space. This mutation power was a sealing formation set by the owner of the ancient golden immortal cave. Jiang Chengshuan's test helped him roughly determine its limits for future reference. Exhibiting mid-stage golden immortal power, Jiang Chengshuan's advance grew even more terrifying and resolute. Wave after wave of impact and mutation rolled in like tides, but could not slow his pace one bit. In the blink of an eye, deep space turned into a boundless crimson sea. Invisible sharp forces ruthlessly cut everything, trying to corrode Jiang Chengshuan's soul. Yet under the sacred power of the 10,000 worlds manifested sacred scripture, the golden light burned steadily like an unextinguishable candle, repelling all mutation forces with an impregnable defense. Meanwhile, as Jiang Chengshuan fiercely battled the mutation, the breach in the desolate star domain finally saw the arrival of other golden immortal cultivators. After some searching, one person found the location, and others followed his trail closely. Elder Yunxi and Elder Sky Sword were naturally among them. Besides them, other golden immortals from various factions had also come, such as the Earth Decay Great Immortal. Oh, looks like today will be lively. Elder Yunxi's eyes narrowed. This ancient golden immortal cave had originally been discovered by him, the arrogant blood demon immortal, Elder Sky Sword, and the dark profound lord. After repeated explorations, the disturbances had inevitably drawn wider attention, attracting golden immortals from various sides. HMPH, Yunxi, you petty man, you actually try to hoard such a great opportunity for yourself, truly selfish. Soon, 4 golden immortals gathered at the small breach, and someone openly scolded Elder Yunxi with dissatisfaction. Since Elder Yunxi had been the first to discover this place, those following could tell from his demeanor that the treasure ground had long been explored by him. This treasure lies here, those with fate may come, how could I hoard it? Elder Yunxi naturally denied this, replying calmly. At this moment, the deep and mysterious fluctuations emanating from the entrance attracted everyone's attention. A strong aura spread out, proving the presence of extraordinary opportunity within. What a powerful aura! There must be great chance inside. In that case, I shall not be polite. Instantly, the Earth Decay Great Immortal grinned smugly, his demonic aura surging. He flashed forward and vanished into the crimson entrance without hesitation. Following closely, another golden immortal eagerly pursued, transforming into immortal light and entering as well. Seeing this, Elder Yunxi and Elder Sky Sword exchanged strange looks, a trace of schadenfreude gleaming deep within their eyes. Chapter 1920, Deep Within the Cave Mansion, System Task 1. In the blink of an eye, accompanied by a ripple of fluctuations, the figures of the Earth-Decayed Great Immortal and another Golden Immortal appeared, entering for the first time the ancient Golden Immortal Cave Mansion. They were unbearably eager, their eyes burning with intensity. In their haste, they did not notice the somewhat malicious looks on the faces of Elder Yunqi and Elder Tianjin as they departed. Rumble! The shattered deep space twisted, red light flickering. The Earth Decayed Great Immortal and the other Golden Immortal suddenly appeared in a boundless space. Before they could even take a closer look at this strange new world, a deafening roar echoed from afar. A terrifying power swept over, shaking the heavens and earth. In an instant, space warped. The four directions became chaotic and lost. Deep darkness covered everything before their eyes. For a moment, the excited expressions on the two Earth-Decayed Great Immortals froze, a chill arising in their hearts. They immediately realized this place was not the peaceful and tranquil treasure land they had imagined. This isn't right. What kind of power is this, capable of blocking our senses? Not good, something is coming. Even the deep space is trembling. Lost in the darkness, both the Earth-Decayed Great Immortal and the other Golden Immortals sensed a force approaching. Without hesitation, they instantly manifested their cosmic auras and prepared their defenses. However, within the lost darkness, they were subjected to a corrupting influence, as if trapped in quicksand. There was no time to ponder. In the blink of an eye, a terrifying mutation surged forth, blotting out the sky and sun, pushing through the deep chaos, bringing destruction on an apocalyptic scale. Damn it, what kind of cursed place is this? As the impact drew near, the two Earth-Decayed Great Immortals cursed in unison, eyes bloodshot with fury. By now they could feel that mysterious power, extremely terrifying, was comparable to a peak Golden Immortal strike. Attack together, Chuan Bing Great Immortal. Instantly, the Earth-Decayed Great Immortal shouted. Without hesitation, both released their Golden Immortal power, transforming into torrents defying the heavens, tearing through the chaotic darkness with a direct assault. Rumble! The two streams of peak Golden Immortal power collided, unleashing a shocking celestial light. It was as if a great sun before them suddenly collapsed and shattered, pouring out all its light and heat. Whoosh! A rending storm of wind swept past their bodies, howling loudly, shaking the hearts and minds of the two Earth-Decayed Great Immortals. They had never imagined that this place, which seemed like a world-shaking opportunity, would be so perilous. Just upon entering, a power capable of threatening Golden Immortals surged forth without any warning. What exactly is this cursed thing? With lingering fear, the two Earth-Decayed Great Immortals pondered this question, suspicious and hesitant to act rashly. Meanwhile, as the Earth-Decayed Great Immortals were shocked by the incoming impact, Jiang Chengxuan alone had already reached deep into the endless starry space. His body blazed with golden radiance, bearing an extremely brilliant Golden Immortal cosmos on his back, exuding the terrifying aura of a late-stage Golden Immortal. Jiang Chengxuan had lost count of how many waves of mutant impacts he had shattered, but he knew he had not slowed down even a bit. He was advancing at an incredibly rapid pace toward his destination. The closer he drew to the center point, the more frequent the impacts became. Almost before one wave of destruction could subside, the next wave was already breaking through space. For Jiang Chengxuan, this was an extreme danger not to be underestimated. Each wave of this mutant impact was already comparable to a Golden Immortal, even stronger than ordinary Golden Immortals. At this moment, it felt as though countless Golden Immortals blocked his path, one after another launching attacks to stop him. But Jiang Chengxuan was fearless. Like a true war god with an unyielding ancient might, he faced wave after wave of mutant impacts and omnipresent corrosion without hesitation. The eternal manifestation scripture formed a golden river of celestial suns, flowing and circulating, powerful enough to break through anything. Rumble! As the deep space turned a crimson color, the impact appeared as a towering blood-red wave, like an impassable cliff, surging to confront the rapidly advancing Jiang Chengxuan. Before him, all he could see was endless chaos and disorder. Even against the backdrop of a blood moon, he could barely discern what lay ahead. In an instant, Jiang Chengxuan clashed again with the impact force. The golden sacred flood surged upstream, condensing into a true golden blade, slicing through deep space, and violently slashing at the storm cliff. In that moment, golden light surged and expanded, illuminating all directions as if coated with golden lacquer. The terrifying power of the Golden Immortal reached its peak. With the golden blade's strike came a tremendous explosion. In a flash of golden light, the cliff-like storm impact was severed. Countless chaotic streams shot out wildly, and the entire space rippled like a torrential rainstorm, twisting all around. Hum! Jiang Chengxuan's figure broke through the blockade with the golden light, standing isolated and proud. His upright figure stood atop the golden blade formed by the eternal manifestation scripture, as if riding a golden boat, fighting through the cosmic storm. Under this absolutely terrifying strength, Jiang Chengxuan finally. Chapter 1921, Deep Within the Cave Mansion, System Task 2. With almost no significant obstruction, Jiang Chengxuan arrived at the location he had designated as his target. This was precisely the source where all the mutations began, the origin point where wave after wave of impact started. After a brief moment of calm, Jiang Chengxuan, bearing the eternal manifestation scripture on his back, looked cautiously yet curiously toward the nearby source. He saw a patch of crimson blood light and chaotic darkness, flowing and swirling like living beings, permeating that area continuously, birthing wave after wave of unimaginable terrifying power. Round that tangled mass of blood mist and dark fog, strange spatial distortions began to brew. Complex totems appeared, flickering between light and shadow, spreading like spider webs and extending for hundreds of miles. Strands of immortal power seeped from them, carrying extremely fearsome potency, their aura extraordinary, pulling at the whole world as if on the verge of eruption. Seeing this, Jiang Chengxuan did not hesitate. He instantly transformed into a streak of golden light and took a step forward, approaching the origin point. Rumble! The terrifying momentum surged to its limit. Space rippled with dreadful distortions and waves. All the totems suddenly emitted black light, countless rays of light ascending defiantly, dyeing the deep space into profound, lost darkness. Immediately, the impact force burst forth again with unstoppable momentum, sweeping up the remaining energies in the deep space, growing stronger as it ravaged beyond the entire deep space. However, this time Jiang Chengxuan was behind it and would no longer be affected. Having entered the truly unknown source, Jiang Chengxuan sensed he had arrived at a mysterious space. The region, swirling with blood light and chaotic darkness, was no longer within the deep space universe. It floated outside it. Finally arrived, the true secret of this ancient golden immortal cave mansion. Even for Jiang Chengxuan's strong will, excitement was inevitable. He vaguely perceived that this ancient golden immortal was no ordinary golden immortal. To be able to set such a terrifying deep space trap, its true strength might already approach the legendary Great Luo golden immortal. That was a terrifying existence above the golden immortal realm. If that was indeed the case, the true opportunity hidden within this ancient golden immortal cave mansion would surely surpass anyone's imagination. Huff! Jiang Chengxuan exhaled a breath of turbid air, invigorated, sweeping away distractions. He retracted the eternal manifestation scripture and forged a golden barrier around himself. Immediately, the mysterious chanting echoed, and the sealing power circulated, blocking all forms of corrosion. Step by step, Jiang Chengxuan advanced, eyes solemn, his immortal power condensed but not unleashed. He sensed this space was not large, seemingly just the size of a great hall. Even as he moved forward slowly, he quickly reached the end. That is, the holy brilliance parted the crimson-black chaos. Jiang Chengxuan held his breath, focusing ahead. There stood at this source a bronze coffin. It was extremely ancient and simple, not much different from usual coffins. The coffin walls were carved with plain mountains, rivers, grass, trees, sun, moon, and stars. Aside from lacking any decay or rust, there was nothing unusual. However, strands of scarlet blood mist and chaotic darkness emanated from the coffin walls, merging into this space. Without a doubt, this ancient bronze coffin was the culprit behind the terrible mutations outside. Could it be that the corpse of that ancient golden immortal lies within? For a moment, Jiang Chengxuan was shocked and unsure. Even he had not expected the end of this ancient golden immortal cave mansion to be his corpse. At the same time, a new question appeared before him. This bronze coffin was incredibly strange, its power extraordinary. It was clearly not simply for burial and rest. Should he open it or not? Jiang Chengxuan did not believe that the ancient golden immortal placed this bronze coffin at the edge of deep space universe, merely to let visitors open it. At any time, opening another's coffin was never a good deed. Perhaps I should investigate first, then decide. After some thought, Jiang Chengxuan refrained from impatience and decided to explore this space first. His goal was not this mysterious bronze coffin, but to seek deeper unknown areas or the golden immortal insights hidden within. If he could find an entrance to the depths elsewhere, then he could leave the bronze coffin unopened. Ding! However, just as Jiang Chengxuan took his second step, a sharp, cold voice suddenly sounded in his divine sea. Startled, he widened his eyes. There was no doubt this was the system's prompt sound. At such a moment, Jiang Chengxuan faintly felt it wanted to tell him something or encourage him to undertake a risky action. Host, please complete the task of exploring the unknown areas of the ancient golden immortal cave mansion. As expected, the system's task notification sounded next. Although not explicitly stated, Jiang Chengxuan understood its meaning. There had always been some connection between the system and Jiang Chengxuan, a mysterious resonance. Any task it issued was a hint referencing Jiang Chengxuan's own thoughts. At this moment, as Jiang Chengxuan was about to leave the bronze coffin behind, the system suddenly issued the task. It was clearly hinting, or rather encouraging Jiang Chengxuan to not hesitate and directly open that bronze coffin. Well then, old friend, since that's the case. Jiang Chengxuan smiled helplessly, but a gleam of sharp light appeared in his eyes. Since the system had spoken, he naturally would not refuse. Turning around, Jiang Chengxuan walked back toward the bronze coffin radiating mysterious light. One step, two steps. He soon reached the towering coffin, and without hesitation reached out to touch it. Hum! Suddenly a tremor passed through. The bronze coffin glowed faintly, lines lit up, forming an ancient landscape carving. At the same time, a corrupting force began to spread toward Jiang Chengxuan's arm. However, his reaction was swift. He used the power of the eternal manifestation scripture to shield himself and suppress it. Rise! Seeing the bronze coffin's response was not severe, Jiang Chengxuan grew more confident. His immortal power surged, and his immortal body radiated the might to move mountains and shatter stars. He grabbed the edge of the coffin lid fiercely. Golden immortal power burst forth, intending to open it. Rumble! Unseen, Jiang Chengxuan's action stirred a divine thunderous sound. In an instant, the entire bronze coffin trembled, shaking even the surrounding space. The seemingly insignificant coffin lid was extremely heavy. Jiang Chengxuan felt as though he was lifting a true piece of heaven and earth. Fortunately, with his current strength, lifting a fragment of heaven and earth was no difficulty. With the world trembling, Jiang Chengxuan's eyes hardened as he raised his arm inch by inch. The bronze coffin lid kicked up dust, gradually opening. With this, more scarlet blood mist and chaotic darkness surged out from all directions, invading Jiang Chengxuan's location like a swarm of mad bees. Hum! But under the protection of the eternal manifestation scripture, the void blossomed with countless ripples. Jiang Chengxuan was immune to all laws and unaffected. Boom! Finally, under Jiang Chengxuan's terrifying power to move mountains and fill seas, the strange bronze coffin was pushed open with a roar. Its true appearance was revealed at this moment. Hello? To Jiang Chengxuan's astonished gaze, the open bronze coffin was completely empty. What was inside was merely a deep, blood-red and dark intertwined portal, constantly emanating the power of the mutation source. Chapter 1922, The Realm of Sacrifice 1. At the core area of the ancient golden immortal cave mansion universe, inside the strangely empty bronze coffin, there was absolutely nothing. This discovery caused Jiang Chengxuan to tremble slightly, his eyes becoming more cautious. Pushing open the lid of the bronze coffin revealed a vast, chaotic and profound space within. Crimson blood light and chaotic darkness intertwined and flowed like living creatures, swirling about like a strange vortex. The ever-surging mutation power continuously emanated from this space, merging into the surrounding area. Could it be that this coffin was originally empty, or that whatever was inside disappeared long ago? After a moment's reflection, Jiang Chengxuan muttered heavily to himself, voicing his concern. Opening the bronze coffin only deepened the mystery. It seems that only by going down there can everything be understood. But Jiang Chengxuan quickly steadied his mind, his gaze firm. No matter what, he had come this far and could not leave empty-handed. He believed that with his current strength, no matter how dangerous this place was, he could explore it. Hum! Without further hesitation, Jiang Chengxuan manifested his immortal power to protect himself. Then he leapt directly into the bronze coffin, vanishing into the swirling portal within. At this moment, accompanied by a humming sound, the bronze coffin trembled. The previously surging mutation power ceased, and the vortex inside calmed like still water. Damn it, when will this cursed thing ever end? Those two bastards haven't entered yet. They must have known everything all along. While Jiang Chengxuan was taking the final step toward the secret of the ancient golden immortal cave mansion, not far from the breach, the Earth-decayed Great Immortal and Qiuan Bing Great Immortal were still struggling. Since entering this ancient golden immortal cave mansion, they had faced wave after wave of mutation attacks, enduring countless assaults with no progress. The mutation power was strange. Sometimes the entire deep space turned blood red, with a sharp, sinister energy corroding everything. At other times, they fell into endless chaotic confusion, losing all sense of direction in the world. Most chilling of all were the increasingly terrifying waves of mutation impacts. These surged mightily, pushing across the entire deep space, leaving nowhere to hide. Enduring such endless torment, even they realized they had been tricked. Obviously, Yunqi and Tianjin knew what this ancient golden immortal cave mansion concealed. They deliberately withheld the truth to watch them suffer from afar. The aura inside the gate grows more terrifying. That mutation must have become even more dreadful. Those two greedy old bastards, let them go inside and suffer. Across the bloody red portal, Elder Yunqi seemed to sense something, laughing heartily. He and Elder Tianjin naturally knew what awaited beyond that gate. Especially after sensing the changed aura at the entrance, they made their guesses. It must be because young friend Jiang has already entered first, activating the mutation. I just hope he can unravel the mysteries of this ancient golden immortal cave mansion. As for us, there's little chance left. Soon after, Elder Yunqi added with a hint of emotion in his eyes. Without a doubt, he guessed someone had beaten them here and entered this ancient golden immortal cave mansion first. And that person could only be Jiang Chengxuan, only he had such strength in this realm. Moreover, they had waited a long time here without seeing Jiang Chengxuan reappear, proof enough. Hearing this, Elder Tianjin's expression grew more complex as he silently gazed at the entrance. Jiang Chengxuan's breakthrough to golden immortal, and his joint assault with Elder Yunqi on the arrogant blood demon realm to establish the Heoran Qiuan sect, though shocking, was still within expectations. After all, during his first visit to the ancient golden immortal cave mansion, Jiang Chengxuan had used the profound immortal realm to contend with golden immortals. His terrifying talent had already begun to show, so his golden immortal breakthrough was reasonable. But not long ago, the arrogant blood demon retaliated against Heoran Qiuan sect and was directly slain by Jiang Chengxuan. This was something Elder Tianjin could hardly imagine. It was said that in that battle, Jiang Chengxuan had displayed mid-stage golden immortal power. When this news first reached him, Elder Tianjin was stunned and incredulous for a long time. Now, through Elder Yunqi's attitude, he naturally saw how much Elder Yunqi's view of Jiang Chengxuan had changed. It was certain that Jiang Chengxuan had indeed surpassed these ancient realm elders. As a lifelong strong-willed sword cultivator, how could Elder Tianjin not feel moved? To have someone like Jiang Chengxuan in the world was truly terrifying. In just a few thousand years, he had advanced from the profound immortal realm to the golden immortal heights that these elders struggled to reach. Perhaps it was time for Tianjin's sword sect to befriend this young great power. With these thoughts, Elder Tianjin's face grew grave. When Jiang Chengxuan leapt into the bronze coffin's portal, what he felt was unexpectedly serene. He felt as if falling into a desolate deep valley, empty and silent just like the coffin itself. Within the endless dark passage, Jiang Chengxuan was like a flicker of golden light drifting downward, uncertain where he would land. Chapter 1923, The Realm of Sacrifice 2. At a certain moment, Jiang Chengxuan suddenly felt his feet touch solid ground. The sound of his footsteps echoed through the vast space as he arrived within another dimension. Upon landing, Jiang Chengxuan heard the gentle sound of flowing water. The golden light of the eternal manifest scripture on his body shimmered, reflecting ripples like stars before his eyes. Only then did he see clearly. This place was a lake made of an unknown liquid. He was standing alone at the center of a raised platform on the lake's surface. Suddenly, a buzzing sound burst forth, and countless stars lit up the deep dark sky above, like the clearest night, reflecting millions of stars onto the black lake water. This sight stunned Jiang Chengxuan. This should have been the violent source of mutation, yet here it was calm, like a sacred land untouched by the slightest trace of mutation's eerie aura. Had he come to the wrong place? For a moment, Jiang Chengxuan hesitated, wondering if fate had led him astray. But soon he dismissed the doubt. With the power of a golden immortal, his perception burst forth like a tide, forming an invisible breeze that swept through all directions. The previously still lake began to ripple and churn under his probing. Yet the results left Jiang Chengxuan unsatisfied. He frowned and surveyed the surroundings, overwhelmed by a disorienting sensation. Despite his ability to perceive the boundaries of ancient realms, he could not find any edges to this space. All he saw was an endless repetition of the same scene. "It seems I'm not mistaken," Jiang Chengxuan muttered. Though the perception revealed nothing, it only confirmed that he had not found the wrong place. Undoubtedly, this confusing realm and the mutation power originated from the same source, and the power was even stronger. With a sudden inspiration, Jiang Chengxuan took a step, then another, toward the edge of the platform. At the shimmering lake surface, he bent down to gaze into the reflection. What he saw startled him, a chill running through his heart. The reflection was not his own. Instead, it was the image of a stranger, gazing back at him with burning eyes. The reflection's face twisted into a strange smile. The lake beneath Jiang Chengxuan began to boil. Crimson colors and chaotic energies surged up, creating a loud commotion. In an instant, the reflection flipped out of the water, taking solid form on the lake's surface. The figure wore an ancient, wide robe resembling a sacrificial garment. Crimson patterns painted archaic murals, filled with history and mystery, matching the figure's aura. His hair was disheveled, his face pale and almost lifeless. If not for the subtle flicker in his eyes, he might have been mistaken for a corpse. "Who are you? Why are you here?" After a moment of surprise, Jiang Chengxuan's eyes hardened as he asked sternly, without rushing to attack. In response, the mysterious man coldly said, "I am the sacrificer. This is the realm of sacrifice." Those few words struck Jiang Chengxuan like thunder, a flash of understanding crossing his mind. "Are you the ancient golden immortal? You set this deep space trap, hoping through sacrificial rites to be reborn." Without hesitation, Jiang Chengxuan's voice thundered across the lake, sending chills through the air. Sacrifice? Rebirth. In the cultivation world, this was an age-old pursuit. Ultimately, all cultivators sought longevity. But rebirth by sacrifice, though many claimed to have mastered it, had almost never succeeded in history. Those who did succeed either revived only their mortal body as an immortal corpse, were forcibly possessed by others, or died suddenly after rebirth. Jiang Chengxuan did not need such a method himself, but he had studied many such ancient texts, for he had nearly lived a second life. Not by reincarnation, but from a fateful battle with the calamity incarnation, he had destroyed his roots, risking death, saved only by a divine pill granted by the system. Since then, he had studied extensively on resurrection. Thus, seeing this strange figure and hearing his identity, combined with the strange deep space around them, Jiang Chengxuan suddenly understood. Yet faced with Jiang Chengxuan's questions, the strange cultivator no longer replied. Instead, he stared at Jiang Chengxuan with a chilling gaze, like a hunter eyeing prey. Jiang Chengxuan felt another realization dawn, a grim one. "Fine, I never expected any kindness here. I'm no hospitable guest either." Unfazed by that eerie gaze, Jiang Chengxuan smiled faintly. This deep space was full of danger. He had long prepared himself for the risks of this unknown realm. If it had been as calm as before, he would have been the one confused. "If you want to use me as a sacrifice, you'll have to have the skill." No sooner had he said this than Jiang Chengxuan attacked without hesitation. Eternal manifest scripture sacrifice. In an instant, countless golden lights ignited behind him. A golden immortal cosmic phenomenon manifested in the void. His late golden immortal power erupted, suppressing heaven and earth, sweeping the stars. Golden suns rose one after another, illuminating the lake. The entire realm was bathed in sacred light, dazzling to the extreme. Golden immortal power surged like a torrent from Jiang Chengxuan's hands, cutting through heaven and earth, stirring a mighty storm. The sacrificer's eyes shrank in alarm. His robe billowed violently as he swept his hands. He unleashed a terrifying aura. Instead of manifesting a cosmic phenomenon, he controlled the entire space. Countless stars lit up the heavens. On the lake's surface, thousands of stars shimmered brilliantly. Endless lake waters rose, twisting into countless water dragons. But they did not attack Jiang Chengxuan. Instead, they surged toward the sacrificer's own body. As the water dragons converged, countless twisted vines appeared on the sacrificer's body. Stars glittered as they poured into him, causing his aura to shift drastically. His pale, corpse-like skin turned like colored glaze, his form crystallizing into star dust. The sacrificer's golden immortal power flared fiercely, rapidly surpassing early golden immortal to mid-stage. Even as the strange lake waters continued to flow into him, his power kept rising. Clearly, this lake was no ordinary water, but a treasure forged from special celestial materials. It served both as a preservation method for the ancient golden immortal's corpse and a measure to store his power. This once deadly silent space turned wildly violent. Countless crimson forces and chaotic darkness erupted from all directions, slowly enveloping the entire realm. A terrible storm brewed, swirling the mysterious lake water upward to the ninth heaven. A colossal pillar pierced the heavens and earth, shaking the world and bringing down a violent storm. Crimson lightning thundered, and the aura of destruction gathered. Chapter 1924, The Battle of the Ancient Golden Immortals Remains, Part 1. Rumble, rumble. Countless water dragons swept across the heavens and earth, rain pouring down like a curtain, the chaotic currents raging wildly. Accompanied by the terrifying might of the golden immortal realm, the entire world was shrouded in this overwhelming force. With the support of the vast heaven and earth and that mysterious lake, the ancient golden immortal's body underwent astonishing changes. Though he did not possess a golden immortal universe, this space itself could be regarded as the source of his power. This was because, through invisible Tao laws, this place was connected to the ever-mutating deep space universe outside, continuously channeling energy to him without end. Undoubtedly, this was all part of the ancient golden immortal's sacrificial rebirth scheme. In ancient times, his lifespan had already been exhausted, but as a prodigy of the heavens, he refused to accept death. Thus, he used his own cave abode and his millions of years' worth of golden immortal insights to set this grand trap. By preserving his physical body in this unyielding primordial pool, when a powerful enough immortal entered the core of the deep space universe, it would trigger the mutation force, trapping and killing all immortals inside. Then, by absorbing their Tao residue, including souls and flesh, he could be reborn anew. The ancient golden immortal's insights were actually the consciousness of the immortal himself. Buzz. In an instant, the ancient golden immortal's body stirred the power of heaven and earth, his aura surpassing Jiang Chengxuan's as he advanced to the late stage of the golden immortal realm. With a mighty wave of his hand, countless water dragons glittering like pillars of stardust blotted out the sky and earth, charging violently toward Jiang Chengxuan. This mysterious lake was known as the unyielding primordial pool, a secret technique from ancient times, refined from countless resources into a precious treasure essence. It was an excellent energy storage vessel, somewhere between an array formation and a divine artifact. At this moment, stirred by the ancient golden immortal's presence, its power was truly astonishing. Jiang Chengxuan's expression grew serious as he felt the pressure reminiscent of when he, still at the profound immortal stage, had faced the errant demon immortal and others. This opponent was far beyond anyone he had previously faced, a true cross-tier battle. After all, before this, Jiang Chengxuan had only confronted early golden immortals. But now, the ancient golden immortal's body, though incomplete, wielded power at the late golden immortal stage. Primordial Chaos Sword Sacrifice. Unshaken, Jiang Chengxuan's gaze sharpened. He summoned the Primordial Chaos Sword, a golden immortal treasure forged by himself through golden immortal power. Without hesitation, he swung it toward the collapsing, unyielding primordial pool. Golden immortal energy at late stage poured into the sword. The ethereal blade shimmered like a nebula, its sword intent like 9 stars linked in a chain, striving to pierce the heavens. Rumble, rumble. In an instant, 2 terrifying forces collided, detonating the entire space. All the water of the unyielding primordial pool was blasted into towering pillars, scattering wildly and blurring everything. The violent divine light refracted into millions of rays, twisting and weaving through space, eerily beautiful and mysterious. Boom, 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 boom. Soon after, those energy-filled water pillars were triggered into explosions, one after another. The blasts resembled countless stars detonating and collapsing, devastating an entire star field. Buzz. Throughout this, Jiang Chengxuan and the ancient golden immortals remains fought fiercely without pause. The eternal manifest scripture surrounded Jiang Chengxuan's body, forming golden armor to resist the chaos's onslaught. Everywhere around them, terrible powers erupted. Jiang Chengxuan transformed into a blazing sun, continuously clashing with the ancient golden immortals remains amidst the turbulent chaos. This was Jiang Chengxuan's first time unleashing the primordial chaos sword after his promotion to golden immortal treasure. Its destructive power exceeded even his expectations. Each sword strike easily surpassed ordinary golden immortal power. Wherever the sword light passed, it left behind only remnants of the universe swirling and shrinking in the chaos before bursting violently. The terrifying might bolstered Jiang Chengxuan's confidence and battle intent, the sword light raining down, devastating the heavens and earth. Under his overwhelming assault, even the ancient golden immortals' remains were suppressed. Though his opponent's realm was higher, combat was not decided by realm alone. Jiang Chengxuan's explosive battle power undoubtedly astonished the ancient golden immortal. His expression remained calm, but Jiang Chengxuan keenly caught a flicker of confusion in his eyes. Then suddenly, a ruthless glint appeared. From the chest of the ancient golden immortal's remains, a dazzling crimson arc of mysterious light shot forth. The attack came abruptly, the crimson light blazing fast, almost instantaneous. Fortunately, Jiang Chengxuan noticed the change in his opponent's eyes and immediately switched to defense. Countless eternal manifest scripture runes formed heavy golden walls before him, blocking the crimson light in layers. Rumble! In a split second, a deafening explosion erupted as the crimson light collided with the eternal manifest scripture. Surprisingly, the crimson light shattered those runes into countless golden sparks. Jiang Chengxuan's expression tightened. He sensed that the crimson light wasn't simply destroying the scripture runes, it was dissolving them, an extremely strange phenomenon. Though the eternal manifest scripture couldn't fully block the attack, its sealing power delayed the impact, buying precious time. Chapter 1925. The Battle of the Ancient Golden Immortals Remains, Part 2. Jiang Chengxuan's figure flickered. In an instant, he seized the opportunity to dodge and instead pressed forward. His primordial chaos sword pierced through the void. However, this time it seemed the ancient golden immortal's remains had anticipated this. With a wave of his right hand, a beam of immortal light descended from the ninth heaven, intercepting the primordial chaos sword. Without hesitation, the two forces collided, unleashing a terrifying storm. The power of the golden immortal treasure shattered space bit by bit, as if melting the void itself. After this violent clash, both sides momentarily paused to regroup. Jiang Chengxuan focused his gaze and noticed that the ancient golden immortal's remains now held an immortal treasure in his hand. Its aura was unmistakably of golden immortal level. It was a short blade, shaped like a reversed half-ring fang, glowing with a crimson light and faintly emitting a dragon's roar. As the lord of this ancient golden immortal cave, his foundation was naturally profound. Jiang Chengxuan sensed this was unlikely to be his only golden immortal treasure. 9 mystical Bodhi lotus lamp sacrifice. Deciding not to give his opponent a chance to recover, Jiang Chengxuan shouted sharply, and the golden immortal cosmic phenomenon behind him immediately blossomed with dazzling light, illuminating the darkness. A massive divine lotus slowly unfurled in the cosmos, each petal ethereal and nebulous, like a star cloud scattering stardust. At its center, a verdant Bodhi ancient tree swayed gently. As its leaves fluttered, immense life energy gathered like a river, crossing the stars to flow into Jiang Chengxuan's body. Instantly, his aura surged again, his immortal power soaring through the heavens and earth. From mid-stage golden immortal realm, he broke through rapidly to the late stage. At the peak of his power surge, Jiang Chengxuan struck with lightning speed. The sword light of the primordial chaos sword cut out, manifesting an even more solid cosmic river remnant. A mighty majestic wind burst forth, forcibly dispersing the rain of the unyielding primordial pool. Buzz! The ancient golden immortal's remains reacted quickly, swinging the scythe-like blade to strike back. In the chaos, a huge crimson crescent moon appeared alongside thunder, clashing with the primordial chaos sword. In an instant, two endless sharp forces, as if able to sever all things, exploded at the point of contact. Countless beams of immortal light shot forth, tearing space into countless wounds. Even the distant ninth heaven sky was sliced open, cracks spilling out chaotic energy. Buzz, 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 buzz. Next moment the violent rain resumed, ravaging the entire world. The terrifying sharpness replaced raindrops, erupting everywhere and illuminating the heavens and earth. The scythe seemed like a sacrificial implement, yet in the hands of the ancient golden immortals remains, it was incredibly agile, unleashing astonishing combat power. Though Jiang Chengxuan's primordial chaos sword was even more powerful, he could not break through the defense for a time. The two fell into a deadlock, each wielding attacking golden immortal treasures, but neither gaining effective advantage. However, this eerie balance was soon broken. Unknowingly, countless droplets of the unyielding primordial pool water surrounded Jiang Chengxuan, enclosing him completely. After another clash of treasures, the ancient golden immortal's remains clenched his hand. The water from the unyielding primordial pool surged from all directions, rushing to bombard Jiang Chengxuan. Jiang Chengxuan's eyes widened in shock. He immediately realized the opponent intended to drown him in this water. Once attached to his body, it would absorb his immortal power, forming a restriction against him. In this critical moment, Jiang Chengxuan remained calm. He knew that defending passively would only lead him into a trap and total disadvantage. Thus, in a flash, he produced a soul banner and unfurled it around himself, blocking all the unyielding primordial pool water. Sizzle! The banner was almost immediately corroded by the strange power contained in the unyielding primordial pool water. Fortunately, it was a treasured relic taken from the Aaron Demon Immortal sect, so its destruction did not trouble Jiang Chengxuan. Yet the ancient golden immortal's remains did not cease his assault. While Jiang Chengxuan was distracted handling the water, his opponent summoned another immortal treasure. This treasure was absorbing massive amounts of the pool water, gathering terrifying power. It was a sacrificial artifact bottle about the size of a palm, soaking up countless droplets. The space around it warped and twisted. When the power reached its peak, the ancient golden immortal's remains flicked the bottle. A torrent erupted from within, resembling a brilliant star river surging forth. Wherever it passed, residual immortal power was absorbed, chaos devoured like a long black hole river. Jiang Chengxuan's eyes narrowed sharply, his pupils contracted as a cold breath ran through his heart. He was nearly trapped, pinned down by the thunderous onslaught of the ancient golden immortal's remains. To resist, he had no choice but to unleash his last trump card. Who? Taking a deep breath, Jiang Chengxuan's mind focused. Behind him, the vast cosmic phenomenon roared and shifted continuously. Great stretches of immortal light spread out like rivers, the stars shifting, chaos separating. Then, like a gate opening, a wildly chaotic and fragmented ruined star map slowly revealed itself. Countless broken stars scattered, heavenly rivers weaving into totems, radiating a terrifying aura of destruction. This was the ruined heavenly light scroll, fused into Jiang Chengxuan's golden immortal cosmic universe, and his strongest offensive trump card. Facing the ancient golden immortal's strange assault, Jiang Chengxuan wasted no time. In an instant, he unleashed the power of the ruined heavenly light scroll to meet the oncoming strike. Rumble, rumble. Immediately, the ruined star map blazed fiercely, infinite ruined heavenly light surged like a collapsing river. With an unstoppable force, it filled the world. The light dyed most of the sky silver before breaking through the void like a flood, pressing down on the roaring star river. The two forces seemed to tear this world in half. Upon contact, the sacrificial realm trembled violently, space shattered bit by bit. The two attacking golden immortal treasures collided, crushing and contending. They poured forth late-stage golden immortal power, like two divine dragons tearing each other apart in the chaos. For a time, the entire ancient golden immortal cave was affected by their battle. Outside in deep space, the mutation forces suddenly ceased. The heavens and earth returned to deathly silence. What happened? That damn mutation finally stopped. The sweating Daizu, Great Immortal, and Chuan, being Great Immortal, both paused in surprise. The endless torment abruptly ended, catching them off guard and leaving them puzzled. Exhausted both physically and mentally by the mutation's assault, they looked around at the wreckage. Finally, they breathed a sigh of relief, exchanged glances silently, and immediately sat cross-legged to refine pills and elixirs to recover. Though they did not know the cause, they refused to waste this rare calm. They must quickly restore their strength. Moreover, their rich experience told them something had definitely happened. Perhaps a great opportunity was beckoning them from the chaos. Chapter 1926, Suppressing the Ancient Golden Immortals Remains, Part 1. And what's going on? Why has it suddenly changed into this state? The sudden silence of the deep space mutation caused the fissure outside the ancient Golden Immortals cave to dim. Both Elder Xianxia and Elder Tianjian were shocked and puzzled. Besides Daizu, Great Immortal, and Chuan, Bing, Great Immortal, who were inside, they too keenly sensed something strange. Clearly, something had happened inside the ancient Golden Immortals cave to cause this abrupt change. Whatever happened inside must be related to Jiang Chengxuan, Elder Tianjian said calmly, his mind at peace with no lingering desire for treasure. However, Elder Xianxia, though no longer coveting treasure himself, was worried about Jiang Chengxuan's safety. Upon hearing this, his eyes grew serious. After all, Heoring Chuan sect was now the pillar of support for Yunlin Immortal sect. If anything happened to Jiang Chengxuan, it would be a huge loss for Yunlin Immortal sect as well. Shall we enter together to investigate? Elder Xianxia asked solemnly, tentatively inviting Elder Tianjian to join him. Elder Tianjian's expression flickered. He fell silent, pondering. He had no real friendship or interests tied to Heoring Chuan sect or Jiang Chengxuan. Was it really worth risking entering the ancient Golden Immortals cave to build relations with Jiang Chengxuan? He knew the cave was mysterious and dangerous, perilous even for ordinary Golden Immortals. If even Jiang Chengxuan, who had broken through to mid-stage Golden Immortal, could not handle it alone, what help could they really provide together? Elder Tianjian thought deeply. This realm is perilous. I have no further desires here, so I shall take my leave. He finally sighed lightly and said to Elder Xianxia. With that, he no longer lingered, his golden immortal power flowing as he transformed into a streak of light, departing the star region. For Elder Tianjian, the only thing worth pursuing inside the ancient Golden Immortals cave was the Golden Immortal enlightenment itself. But with many forces involved and Jiang Chengxuan present as a prodigy, he had almost no chance to succeed, so he chose to avoid trouble. Seeing this, Elder Xianxia was momentarily stunned, but quickly understood Elder Tianjian's thoughts, frowning deeply. While Tianjian could remain neutral, Xianxia could not. Both Daizu and Chuan, Bing, Great Immortals, were inside, and if anything happened to Jiang Chengxuan, the consequences would be unbearable. Sigh, this really is a troublesome era, Elder Xianxia muttered, disappointed that he could not convince Elder Tianjian to help. He then resolutely stepped into the entrance, re-entering the ancient Golden Immortals cave. At this moment, deep space, which had grown suddenly calm, now saw 3 Golden Immortals rapidly rushing toward the cave's core. Meanwhile, amidst the external suspicions and rumors, inside the sacrificial realm, the battle between Jiang Chengxuan and the ancient Golden Immortals remains reached its bloodiest moment. Both sides unleashed terrifying power of the late-stage Golden Immortal realm, holding nothing back. They unleashed all their divine abilities and immortal treasures, clashing with utmost ferocity, fighting at their peak. Wielding the primordial chaos sword, backed by the eternal manifest scripture and 9 mystical Bodhi lotus lamp, Jiang Chengxuan appeared like a true god, displaying astonishing combat prowess. Every swing of his sword manifested cosmic remnants of destruction. Behind him, the eternal manifest scripture shone like countless golden suns, emitting sacred light to purify heaven and earth. The 9 mystical Bodhi lotus lamp made his golden immortal cosmic realm even more profound, its 9-colored lotus petals radiating immortal light. Like 9 star domains endlessly releasing stellar river power. This was Jiang Chengxuan at his prime. Every strike was enough to suppress ordinary golden immortals, destroying heaven and earth. Yet even under such offensive, the ancient Golden Immortals remains held firm, fiercely battling Jiang Chengxuan with earth-shaking force. Though only partially conscious, driven by instinct, it responded precisely to Jiang Chengxuan's tactics. Moreover, this sacrificial realm was practically its territory. Countless droplets of the unyielding primordial pool water possessed power comparable to golden immortal treasures. They could unleash great strength and absorb Jiang Chengxuan's attacks. In an instant, the entire sacrificial realm was filled with raging immortal power. Cosmic remnants shattered everywhere. Golden immortal might tore through the void, radiant light covered the sky, blocking the sun. Though I wield the 9 mystical Bodhi lotus lamp and do not fear a protracted battle, this ancient golden immortals remains keeps absorbing immortal power with that strange lake water. If it continues, there may be unexpected changes. Between clashes, Jiang Chengxuan's eyes hardened as he contemplated how to break the stalemate. He vaguely felt the battle had already affected the entire ancient golden immortal cave. If it continued, something was bound to happen. No matter what, he had to suppress the ancient golden immortal's remains as soon as possible, or leave quickly and plan anew later. And Jiang Chengxuan was far from willing to leave just like that. Even if he wanted to retreat, the ancient golden immortal's remains would not easily let him go. Besides, who knew when this ancient golden immortal cave could be open again? Chapter 1927, Suppressing the Ancient Golden Immortal's Remains, Part 2. This was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, and Jiang Chengxuan had to exert all his strength to seize it. Amidst the urgency, as the ancient golden immortal's remains once again commanded the waters of the unyielding primordial pool to surge in a towering tidal wave, Jiang Chengxuan's eyes flickered with a sudden idea. Since the ancient golden immortal could manipulate such a vast quantity of the pool's water, why couldn't he try to do the same? Rumble! Swift as lightning, Jiang Chengxuan sidestepped the crushing force of the ancient golden immortal's suppression. Without hesitation, he began to put his daring idea into action. He believed that even with the strange treasure bottle's aid, the ancient golden immortal could not perfectly control all the water. What Jiang Chengxuan needed to do was simply steal a portion of it, to turn the opponent's power against him. At once, with a thought, Jiang Chengxuan summoned a black and white pearl. In the void, it expanded into a Taiji yin-yang domain, evolving into a star chart. Immediately, immense primordial spirit power spread across heaven and earth, forming an invisible vortex that instantly enveloped a large area of the unyielding primordial pool's water. Within the black and white pearl's sphere of influence, the pool's water trembled. This might work. Jiang Chengxuan's heart surged with excitement as sharp light gleamed in his eyes. But the ancient golden immortal's remains reacted swiftly, hastily activating the treasure bottle in hand, powerfully absorbing the water caught within the black and white pearl's domain. After all, the black and white pearl was not yet at the golden immortal level. It lacked the qualification to compete head-on with the treasure bottle. Still, Jiang Chengxuan did not lose heart, as he had anticipated this. Seeing the opponent relying on the treasure bottle, he immediately shifted the pearl's influence to another section of the pool. Soon, the peak clash between two late-stage golden immortals turned into a bizarre contest, as both sides fiercely fought over control of the lake's water within this space. Original runes manifest. Jiang Chengxuan gritted his teeth. He knew the success or failure of this move would be the deciding factor of the battle. No longer holding back, he unleashed his final trump card. With a thought, 4 ancient runes slowly appeared in his golden immortal cosmos, each formed by a string of burning stars, resembling mysterious primordial war markings. This was the primordial power that shaped a world. Since Jiang Chengxuan's ascension to the golden immortal cosmos, it had undergone a startling transformation. The 4 runes acted like massive formations the size of star domains, each emitting terrifying power as infinite starlight beams. Under this primordial power, even the water of the unyielding primordial pool was instantly subdued. At the same time, beneath the starlight, the laws of heaven and earth were rewritten by Jiang Chengxuan. Although the ancient golden immortals remained still contested with the treasure bottle's might, the battle was now nearly even. This stunned the ancient golden immortals' remains, who had not expected Jiang Chengxuan to find this breakthrough. Suppress it. Without hesitation, Jiang Chengxuan pressed the advantage. Harnessing the primordial rune power to suppress vast portions of the pool, he wielded the primordial chaos sword in furious slashes. The ancient golden immortals' remains could only defend with the ritual sickle in hand, as they clashed hundreds of times in mere moments, toppling heaven and earth, reversing the celestial river. Behind Jiang Chengxuan, his golden immortal cosmos surged again with the aura of the ruined heavenly light. Brilliant totems ignited, scattered stars flared up, and a crushing strike was unleashed. The ancient golden immortal's remains resisted with the treasure bottle's power, but under Jiang Chengxuan's suppressive assault, The water he could manipulate was greatly reduced, his strength diminished by several tens of percent. Rumble! The two terrifying forces collided in the void, completely stirring this realm. The ruined heavenly light in its overwhelming posture suppressed the ancient golden immortal's remains, continuously steaming away his power, forcing him to retreat step by step. Yang Chengxuan's battle-intent soared at this sight. For the first time, his opponent revealed such a massive weakness. Almost instinctively, Jiang Chengxuan seized the moment. He pushed the 9 mystical Bodhi lotus lamp to its peak, launching the most ferocious and reckless assault yet. The two exchanged wounds, breaking through each other's defenses, leaving scars on their bodies. But as a living being, Jiang Chengxuan held an absolute advantage in endurance. He factored this carefully into the battle. The rapidly changing conflict began to tilt decisively toward Jiang Chengxuan. The sacrificial realm, once a cage for him, became a shackle for the ancient golden immortal's remains. Their clash intensified manifold, with abyssal rifts tearing open, cosmic remnants shattered, stars collapsed, and the Tao was eroded. Gradually, a reluctant look appeared in the ancient golden immortal's eyes, no longer a placid pool of death. It instinctively realized Jiang Chengxuan's fighting power far exceeded those of its peers, despite being at a lower realm. Even with this sacrificial realm's support, it was losing. No. The ancient golden immortal's remains muttered hoarsely, its cold expression turning fierce and vivid. But this had no effect on Jiang Chengxuan, who was fully immersed in battle, burning his immortal power without reserve, determined to suppress the ancient golden immortal's remains. Rumble! As twisted space and time were ravaged, more than half of the unyielding primordial pool's water was burned away. Jiang Chengxuan finally seized an opening, bloodied but resolute. With the primordial chaos sword, he slashed diagonally, deflecting the opponent's immortal treasure and striking straight into the chest. The sword's razor sharpness left the ancient golden immortal's remains, already battered, helpless to resist. It could only watch as Jiang Chengxuan slashed through its immortal body, cutting off most of its neck, terrifying beyond words. I will not yield. In that moment, the ancient golden immortal's remains, last flicker of consciousness, faltered. It had never expected that after all its schemes, a prodigy like Jiang Chengxuan would come to its old lair and suppress it to death. It would not live a second life, but instead die a second time so tragic. Though once a mighty being comparable to a chaotic golden immortal, millions of years had passed. This was no longer its era. Beneath Jiang Chengxuan's sword, it had no way to resist and could only fall with hatred. It's over. Feeling the life force of the ancient golden immortal's remains fade, Jiang Chengxuan's expression grew solemn as he whispered. This battle had left many wounds on him, perilous and fierce, but thankfully he was the final victor, shattering the warped desires of the ancient golden immortal. Withdrawing the primordial chaos sword, the remains collapsed. Its 2 immortal treasures drifted down, emanating immortal light. Jiang Chengxuan exhaled deeply, eyes gleaming sharply. He immediately extended his hands, casting 2 eternal manifest talismans on the treasures, sealing them before storing them away. Then he smiled, feeling the fatigue vanish. These 2 treasures alone would more than compensate for the losses he suffered in battle, not to mention others. At that moment, a sudden anomaly stirred in the distant sky above Jiang Chengxuan's head. Chapter 1928, One Hand Suppresses Uninvited Guests, Part 1. In the core area of the ancient golden immortal's tomb, the sacrificial realm, after the ancient golden immortal's remains fell with lingering hatred, the raging waters of the unyielding primordial pool suddenly fell completely silent. The void shattered, with large cracks spreading out, exposing chaotic scenes beyond the sacrificial realm. Amidst this, Jiang Chengxuan, having secured the 2 immortal treasures from the ancient golden immortal's remains, finally breathed a sigh of relief. Unexpectedly, a sudden anomaly appeared above the sky dome. A strange buzzing sound exploded abruptly, shaking the void as a rift opened. From this crack, 2 figures burst forth, their immortal power blazing fiercely as they stood in midair. Is this the true treasure trove of the ancient golden immortal's tomb? Fortune favors me, haha, after endless searching I have finally found it. 2 extremely excited voices echoed through the heavens, relentless and resonant. Jiang Chengxuan's eyes narrowed sharply, as he looked up and recognized the very familiar figures. Who else could these two uninvited guests be, if not the great Earth Decay Immortal and the River Ice Immortal? Because of the cosmic disturbance caused by Jiang Chengxuan's battle, the void had temporarily stilled, allowing these two to finally locate the core area. They had entered through the bronze coffin Jiang Chengxuan had opened and arrived here. But why is this world so broken and ruined? Someone's there, who is it? At that moment, the overly excited Earth Decay Immortal and his companion scanned the shattered sacrificial realm and suddenly sensed something amiss. Their eyes widened as they caught sight of Jiang Chengxuan standing on the surface of the lake. They trembled all over, their pupils contracting sharply, and they shouted loudly, cold sweat breaking out. There was clearly a figure here, and yet they had not sensed him until just now. How strange and eerie. There's no treasure here, but there is a corpse. In response to their startled questions, Jiang Chengxuan's gaze was calm as he slowly replied. With his immortal power, he swept over the ancient golden immortal's corpse and pushed it upward toward the sky dome. Whoosh! The two immediately took a step back, fearing an attack, and prepared their defenses. When they saw what was flying, however, they realized it was truly just a corpse. Midway through its flight, the corpse suddenly crumbled and dissipated into dust. Jiang Chengxuan had not destroyed it intentionally. Without the unyielding primordial pool's water to protect it, it could no longer maintain its immortal state and return to its natural form. It's you, Jiang Chengxuan, you're here. The Earth Decay Immortal finally recognized Jiang Chengxuan and exclaimed in shock. His companion, the River Ice Immortal, was equally startled, eyes wide open. Jiang Chengxuan, the one who slew the arrogant blood demon Immortal, the Lord of Heoran Xuanzang. Clearly, Jiang Chengxuan's fame had spread widely along with the Heoran Xuanzang sect, especially after killing a golden immortal, an almost unheard-of feat in this era. Though never having met Jiang Chengxuan, the River Ice Immortal had heard tales of his power. The atmosphere in the sacrificial realm immediately tensed. The two Earth Decay Immortals, faces darkened as they stared at Jiang Chengxuan, their minds racing. They finally understood why the cosmic disturbance outside had suddenly stopped. I merely stumbled in here by accident, sir. The River Ice Immortal reacted swiftly, not wanting to provoke Jiang Chengxuan. He cupped his hands and spoke, intending to give up on any greed he held. But before he could finish, the Earth Decay Immortal interrupted gravely. Wait. He's injured. There was a fierce battle here. His eyes glinted dangerously, unwilling to leave so easily or abandon the opportunity. Seeing Jiang Chengxuan's bloodied immortal robe and the shattered void, he pieced together what had occurred. The River Ice Immortal's eyes also widened, glancing at Jiang Chengxuan and starting to waver. This was undoubtedly a rare chance. They both understood how terrifying the secrets of the ancient golden immortal's tomb were. If Jiang Chengxuan was wounded, this would be an ideal opportunity for them. Especially with the Earth Decay Immortal eager behind him, their confidence surged inexplicably. In truth, neither had truly fought Jiang Chengxuan before, and their knowledge of him came only through rumors. Thus, they felt no fear, their greed swelling so much the River Ice Immortal's breathing grew rougher. Jiang Chengxuan, the origin of this disturbance, stood calmly in place, unmoving. He neither attacked first nor tried to flee. Though wounded, he remained confident against two early-stage golden immortals. Each side had their own plans, and a fight was about to erupt again in this sacrificial realm. No one spoke any more words. They stared silently across the void, their chi subtly probing one another like a lit fuse ready to ignite. An ancient saying goes, whoever sees shall have a share, if you would split your gains with us. Chapter 1929, One Hand Suppresses Uninvited Guests, Part 2. After a moment, the River Ice Immortal's expression suddenly changed. He looked at Jiang Chengxuan with a stern voice, attempting to further probe his intentions. Unexpectedly, Jiang Chengxuan made a surprising move. He reached out his right hand and produced two immortal treasures glowing with ethereal light, calmly stating, "These two are golden immortal treasures, part of the ancient golden immortals collection. If what you say is true, and one belongs to me, then to whom should the other belong?" His words instantly caused the atmosphere to tense. The River Ice Immortal was momentarily stunned, clearly not expecting Jiang Chengxuan to say such a thing. The Earth Decay Immortal's eyes narrowed as he stared at the River Ice Immortal, fearing he might be swayed by Jiang Chengxuan's words. He immediately shouted in a harsh voice, "River Ice Immortal, do not be deceived. This is a ploy to divide us. As long as we suppress this man, there will be countless treasures beyond these two. Do not be foolish." His words caused the River Ice Immortal's brows to furrow in hesitation. But soon he caught sight of Jiang Chengxuan's faint, mocking smile. His heart sank as his expression hardened. Clearly, Jiang Chengxuan was merely toying with them, not genuinely offering an alliance. "Damn it!" The River Ice Immortal cursed inwardly, his eyes turning red with anger. Just moments ago, he had seriously considered accepting Jiang Chengxuan's proposal to avoid conflict. Yet to find himself merely mocked, how could he not be enraged? "Fine, then I shall invite you to die." In the next instant, furious and ashamed, the River Ice Immortal discarded his earlier civility, his face twisting in rage. With a roar, his golden immortal universe burst forth, swallowing heaven and earth. His cosmic manifestation was a ghostly blue cold, permeating with icy chill and darkness, obscuring all light. Immediately, as his immortal power erupted, the entire sacrificial realm grew bitterly cold. The waters of the unyielding primordial pool were covered with frost. "Good, let us suppress this fellow together." Without hesitation, the Earth Decay Immortal's eyes glowed fiercely as his immortal light soared. Behind him, a decaying cosmic vision manifested, scattered stars and thick mist. Before long, without any further words, the two launched their assault. One from the left, one from the right, massive golden immortal powers formed two differently colored celestial rivers, rushing toward Jiang Chengxuan. Where they passed, the void froze and space withered and dissolved, a terrifying sight. They spared no effort, determined to kill Jiang Chengxuan here and seize all his treasures. HMPH. Jiang Chengxuan remained calm, only emitting a cold snort. He first tucked away the two immortal treasures, then waved his hand. His golden immortal universe immediately expanded wildly. Though wounded, his mid-stage golden immortal aura descended upon the world, silencing all. The brilliant star realms dimmed slightly, yet to the Earth Decay Immortal and River Ice Immortal, it was still overwhelmingly imposing. Hiss! At Jiang Chengxuan's sudden release of mid-stage golden immortal pressure, the two inhaled sharply. But there was no turning back, their attacks had already closed in. 10,000 ages manifested sacred scriptures, manifest. Facing the two overwhelming golden immortal forces, Jiang Chengxuan recited scriptures. Behind him, several suns rose, illuminating the sacrificial realm. The sealing power manifested. The 10,000 ages scriptures formed a barrier that cut through the void. Boom! The three forces collided, creating a deafening explosion. Immortal light filled the heavens, the void trembled, and massive turbulent storms erupted. Kill! Show no mercy! The Earth Decay Immortal and River Ice Immortal's eyes burned red. Their resolve was absolute. Each unleashed their immortal treasures and surged toward Jiang Chengxuan. Once engaged, they would go all out to annihilate him, no matter if he was a mid-stage golden immortal. But unexpectedly, amid the turbulent storm, before they could strike far, a figure struck first. Wielding a sword forged from condensed star clouds, he slashed violently. This sudden counterattack chilled the hearts of the two immortals. How could this power show no sign of injury? Could this man be feigning wounds to deceive them? Such thoughts threw them into panic. In truth, Jiang Chengxuan was injured, but even at half strength, he could easily handle their combined assault. Boom! Jiang Chengxuan's sword, the primordial Hengmeng sword, slashed through the void, causing tremors. The two immortals saw a cosmic shadow erupt, their aura suppressed by the terrifying golden immortal might. Amidst the deafening roar, the besieged Jiang Chengxuan launched a fierce counterattack. The primordial Hengmeng sword, combined with the 10,000 ages scriptures, nearly suffocated the Earth Decay and River Ice Immortals. Damn it, he's injured! As they retreated step by step, the River Ice Immortal cursed fiercely, eyes bloodshot. The Earth Decay Immortal was shocked for the first time, realizing just how terrifying Jiang Chengxuan truly was. Impossible, they could never defeat him. After just a brief encounter, their hearts withered. The gap between them was insurmountable. Recalling Jiang Chengxuan's slaying of the arrogant blood demon immortal shattered their morale completely. Boom! Another brutal clash erupted. The backlash forced the two immortals to stagger and spit blood. Against Jiang Chengxuan's fearsome strength, even united they could barely hold their ground. Run, run now! In an instant, their fighting spirit vanished. Without exchanging a word, they turned and fled, unleashing their full immortal power to become escaping lights soaring toward the sacrificial realm's upper sky. Jiang Chengxuan's eyes narrowed sharply. He waved his hand, and the 10,000 ages scriptures formed golden arrows, locking on their chi and chasing after them. Boom, 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 boom. Explosions filled the sky above the sacrificial realm. Several suns simultaneously detonated, devouring the starry sky. Scorching shockwaves swept the world. The two immortals left only pitiful screams behind. When the chaotic, turbulent winds died down, their figures were gone. Of course, such an assault alone could not kill them. After all, they were golden immortal cultivators. Jiang Chengxuan did not intend to kill them either. Severely wounding them was enough. In the future, upon encountering Jiang Chengxuan again, they would only flee with their tails between their legs. With the uninvited guests rapidly driven away, the sacrificial realm fell silent once more. Jiang Chengxuan showed no expression, as if having done something trivial. But finally, he could continue his work. Within his golden immortal universe, 4 ancient and simple primordial runes lit up. They suppressed the unyielding primordial pool waters from all directions, drawing them in with immortal power. This was among the greatest gains of this expedition. After all, the waters that preserved the ancient golden immortal's corpse from decay for millions of years were extraordinary treasures in themselves. As Jiang Chengxuan slowly drained the deep pool's waters, faint golden and mysterious light drifted into the heavens like star dust. An unexpected surprise appeared within this world, even to Jiang Chengxuan himself. Chapter 1930, Consciousness Avatar Breakthrough on the Spot Part. As Jiang Chengxuan steadily drew the unyielding primordial pool waters from the vast sacrificial realm, the pool's original form was gradually revealed beneath, a deep darkness, like thick mud. However, Jiang Chengxuan paid little attention to this. His gaze was fully captured by a suddenly appearing glimmer of golden light. That flicker of golden radiance resembled a faint star cloud, yet it rose softly like curling smoke drifting into the heavens. A vast and familiar aura spread with the mysterious hum, bringing clarity and calm to Jiang Chengxuan's mind. His eyes gleamed with excitement as he strode swiftly toward the source of the golden light. At that moment, with a booming sound, more golden dust and light erupted from that spot like a volcanic explosion, scattering divine brilliance across the sky. The darkness was dyed golden. It really is the ancient golden immortal's enlightenment. Seeing this, Jiang Chengxuan's judgment was confirmed, and he cried out in ecstatic joy. This golden light and the ethereal aura, if this was not the primary target of the golden immortal's enlightenment he sought, then what else could it be? Originally, that millions of years old enlightenment was meant as bait. But after many twists and turns, it was hidden by the ancient golden immortal's corpse beneath this sacrificial realm. This was where his physical body lay, the final point of his arrangements. Only by placing his consciousness-hidden golden immortal enlightenment here could he rest assured. As for why he had not fused with the enlightenment, it was presumably because fusion could only occur when all sacrifices were complete and the ritual began. Jiang Chengxuan, as the sacrifice, had undoubtedly refused to assist in his resurrection. Hence, this ancient golden immortal's enlightenment could only remain quietly underground, watching its plan fall apart. Rumble! The earth trembled as the void filled entirely with golden light. The ancient golden immortal's enlightenment, like a small star, slowly rose like a sunrise in the east. It remained vague and illusory, flickering with countless memory images that shifted hundreds of times each moment, deeply profound. Jiang Chengxuan's eyes blazed with fervor. He sensed that if he could refine this ancient golden immortal enlightenment completely, his cultivation would surge to a new level, a leap toward transcendence. Without hesitation, the golden immortal universe behind him shone brilliantly. 4 primordial runes transformed once more into a star map, radiating glorious primal power. Under this influence, the ancient golden immortal's enlightenment was immediately awed and drawn in, lingering in the void. Then with a thought, Jiang Chengxuan's immense immortal power surged, stars shifted, and the pulling force suddenly skyrocketed. The enlightenment orb was drawn invisibly, rapidly collected. Yet just as the enlightenment star was mostly absorbed, a sudden change occurred. In an instant, an illusory figure burst forth from the star's haze. It dashed toward Jiang Chengxuan with lightning speed. Where it passed, the void twisted like the rainbow light descending from the heavens, headed straight for Jiang Chengxuan's crown with unmistakable intent to kill. The attack came abruptly, just as Jiang Chengxuan was lost in his joy. Even he felt his body hair stand on end, breaking out in cold sweat. Fortunately, his constant vigilance enabled him to react instantly. Almost instinctively, he exploded his immortal power, slamming toward the ground. Boom! The dark mud exploded into a huge crater as the rainbow light slammed down, Jiang Chengxuan dropping sharply, the two narrowly missing each other. Seeking death. Jiang Chengxuan's eyes hardened with anger. With a roar, the 10,000 ages manifested sacred scriptures erupted forth, transforming into countless golden suns that pressed down. Several suns blocked a large expanse of void, enclosing the rainbow light. Then the primordial Hengmeng sword appeared in Jiang Chengxuan's hand. With a flash, he violently slashed downward. Rumble! Instantly, heaven and earth shook. Deafening roars and swirling immortal light storms swept across the realm. In this furious strike combined with sealing power, Jiang Chengxuan finally caught sight of the rainbow light's true form. It was illusory and vague, burning fiercely. Shockingly, it was exactly identical to the ancient golden immortal's corpse. At this realization, Jiang Chengxuan was stunned but understood everything. The ancient golden immortal had hidden his consciousness within this enlightenment. Knowing that if he were trapped inside Jiang Chengxuan's golden immortal universe, there would be no chance of escape. He desperately attempted a sneak attack to directly kill and possess Jiang Chengxuan. Yet his plan was doomed. Even with many immortal treasures, the original body could not defeat Jiang Chengxuan. How could a mere consciousness avatar possibly succeed? Still, Jiang Chengxuan was shaken, but now fully aware. His murderous intent surged as he waved his hand. The primordial Hengmeng sword and 10,000 ages scriptures combined to suppress the consciousness avatar. Since it was only a simple consciousness form, it lacked any real combat power. Bang! Moments later, with the crushing weight of the 10,000 ages manifested suns and terrifying sealing power, the ancient golden immortal's consciousness avatar exploded. It died again within the sacrificial realm. At last, this realm returned to true peace and calm. That was close, almost slipped through my fingers. Jiang Chengxuan watched as the golden immortal enlightenment was completely absorbed and suppressed within his universe. Chapter 1931, Consciousness Avatar Breakthrough on the Spot Part 2. Jiang Chengxuan finally relaxed his tense mind and let out a sigh of relief, feeling a bit emotional. Fortunately, no matter how turbulent the process was, he ultimately became the victor here. Not only did he slay another golden immortal cultivator, but he also seized 2 golden immortal treasures, and most importantly, the million-year-old golden immortal enlightenment. Just as Jiang Chengxuan was about to rejoice, a new problem suddenly arose. He sensed that, after absorbing the golden immortal enlightenment into his golden immortal universe, it was rapidly dissipating. Could it be that, without the ancient golden immortal's consciousness controlling it, this enlightenment can't be preserved? This unexpected development caused Jiang Chengxuan's eyes to narrow, his brow furrowing deeply. The situation was far more troublesome than he had anticipated. By his rough estimation, if the dissipation continued at this rate, by the time he returned to Heoring Chuanzong, nearly 30% of the enlightenment would be lost. No, I have to absorb it here and now. After brief consideration, Jiang Chengxuan decisively resolved there was no other choice. Allowing such a great loss was unacceptable. Thus, he had to attempt absorption on the spot. As the ancient golden immortal enlightenment steadily turned to stardust and scattered, Jiang Chengxuan hurriedly deployed the power of the primordial runes to slow its dissipation. At the same time, with a thought, his golden immortal universe expanded, swallowing the sacrificial realm within a 1,000-mile radius. Then, the 10,000 ages manifested sacred scriptures were cast forth, reflecting and reinforcing the universe's power, constructing an unbreakable protective barrier. Calm and resolute, Jiang Chengxuan dispelled all distractions and focused his spirit. Raising his aura to its peak, he directly plunged into the golden immortal enlightenment itself. This was the fastest way to refine it. Even the 9 wonders Bodhi lotus lamp was summoned, transforming into an enormous celestial lotus that heavily enveloped the enlightenment. Supported by this treasure, Jiang Chengxuan's aura surged again, reaching the late golden immortal stage. Ding! Just as Jiang Chengxuan was ready to recklessly commence refining the golden immortal enlightenment, a cold, crisp voice suddenly echoed in his mind. Hello? Jiang Chengxuan was startled. It was a voice he knew well coming from his system. Congratulations, host, for achieving the exploration milestone of the unknown region in the ancient golden immortal cave mansion. Reward granted, 3 immortal source pills. Consuming immortal source pills provides a continuous supply of immortal energy, lasting 1,000 years. With the announcement fading, 3 white pills appeared before Jiang Chengxuan, pure as singularities or white holes, suspended in the void. They seemed to connect to another world, exuding a rich fragrance and endless immortal spiritual energy. Naturally, Jiang Chengxuan was ecstatic, his eyes shining bright as he laughed heartily. Excellent, this is the true east wind. With these 3 immortal source pills aiding him, Jiang Chengxuan would no longer lack immortal energy when attempting breakthroughs. Without these pills, even absorbing all the ancient golden immortal enlightenment would only advance him 1 step into the late golden immortal stage. Though the enlightenment improved his understanding of the Tao, accumulation of immortal energy was the true basis for breakthroughs. Now, with these pills, it was like having 2 engines running in tandem, allowing him to surge forward without hesitation. Without delay, Jiang Chengxuan swallowed 1 pill, refining it internally. Using his will to channel universal power, he commanded the ceiling formations and opened his immortal body to ravenously absorb the surrounding golden immortal enlightenment. In an instant, 2 terrifying energies poured into his body, his aura rising dramatically. His already formidable presence climbed higher, and inside his sea of consciousness, holy light spread, bathing everything in golden radiance. The immortal source pill within him began transforming, forming an immortal energy white hole that endlessly supplied immortal energy to every limb and bone. The dual blessings were so potent that Jiang Chengxuan felt his immortal body slightly swelling. But by focusing his spirit and multitasking, he quickly tamed the 2 forces. With the combined power of the 10,000 ages sacred scriptures and the primordial runes, Jiang Chengxuan seemed divinely assisted. He decomposed, absorbed, refined, and comprehended the ancient golden immortal's Tao insights with unparalleled speed and depth. The endless immortal spiritual energy was compressed and integrated into a cycle within his body, expanding his golden immortal universe and forging a new star domain. What normally required centuries or millennia of accumulation was now achieved in an astonishingly short time, truly terrifying. While Jiang Chengxuan underwent this remarkable transformation within the sacrificial realm of the ancient golden immortal cave mansion, outside in the vast deep space, Cloud Elder streaked through like a ray of light, rapidly approaching the cave mansion's core area. His brow was tightly furrowed, aura tense but withheld, expression serious and alert. He felt as if facing a great enemy, ready to burst into battle at any moment. He was rushing to support Jiang Chengxuan, but remained unaware that his friend had already resolved all problems. Hum. Suddenly, the deep space warped. 2 mysterious humming sounds accompanied 2 beams of immortal light surging forth, turning into dazzling rivers streaking past. Cloud Elder's eyes narrowed sharply, and he immediately halted, summoning his immortal treasure in preparation to strike. Unexpectedly, the 2 powerful auras, upon seeing him, did not attack but quickly evaded, curving around and fleeing past his side. They seemed even more panicked than the lone Cloud Elder. Hello? Confusion filled Cloud Elder's face. He smelled a faint stench of blood and glimpsed the 2 figures, clearly the Earth Decay Elder and River Ice Elder. What's going on? How did those 2 end up here? He muttered in bewilderment. Deep in the ancient golden immortal cave mansion, what could have transpired to leave those 2 so flustered and wounded? Sigh, young Jiang is in deep trouble, but I must still go check. Nonetheless, Cloud Elder did not hesitate and pressed onward. After all, Jiang Chengxuan was still deep inside. Leaving was impossible. Composing himself, Cloud Elder transformed into a streak of light and continued deeper. Soon, he arrived at the cave mansion's core entrance. Without hesitation, he stepped carefully inside. Space warped abruptly, and Cloud Elder arrived in the chamber holding the bronze coffin. The next moment, his eyes widened in astonishment as he froze in place. Before him was not the danger or strangeness he imagined, but a serene golden mist pervading the space, evoking peace and calm. This aura felt oddly familiar, quickening his heartbeat. This is the ancient golden immortal enlightenment. After a pause, he exclaimed in disbelief, drawing a sharp breath. He realized the enlightenment was thick and abundant, continuously seeping from the space below, filling the area. Simply stepping in made Cloud Elder's boundary feel a tremor, as if an ancient unmelting ice was finally beginning to thaw. This was an immense surprise, filling Cloud Elder with boundless joy. Chapter 1932, A Dual Breakthrough, Perfection of the Golden Immortal Realm, Part 1. Worried and uncertain, Elder Xianxia ventured into the unknown core of the ancient golden immortal grotto heaven. He had assumed that what awaited him would be some terrifying mutation or deadly threat. Never did he expect it to be a fortune beyond imagination. So much insight, such wondrous essence. Eyes flashing with brilliance, Elder Xianxia took a deep breath and sighed in amazement. As the power of golden immortal enlightenment flowed into him, the barrier of his realm began to tremble, and his entire body quivered with it. The further one progressed, the more they understood how difficult the immortal Tao truly was. Without fate and fortune, each step was as arduous as scaling the heavens. He had been trapped at the early stage of the golden immortal realm for tens of thousands of years, unable to find a breakthrough opportunity, making no progress at all. It was clear how priceless this influx of golden immortal insight was to Elder Xianxia. No, I must first check on young friend Xianxia. But after a while, Elder Xianxia calmed his joy and restrained his excitement. He hadn't forgotten why he came. Though this place no longer seemed dangerous, at the very least, he needed to confirm Jiang Chengxuan's condition. With that in mind, Elder Xianxia began searching through the relatively compact space. Soon enough, he discovered a strange half-open bronze coffin. So this is the true entrance to the deepest area. Drawing on his vast experience, Elder Xianxia quickly judged the coffin's purpose. He understood that Jiang Chengxuan was surely inside. Without hesitation, he prepared to step in. Buzz! At that moment, a familiar yet powerful aura burst forth, divine light flaring up. Elder Xianxia was startled and blocked outside. This is a barrier placed by Chengxuan. There was no doubt that the obstruction was caused by a restriction Jiang Chengxuan had laid before his breakthrough. It seems he has obtained his opportunity. No need to worry. Elder Xianxia was first surprised, then delighted, and the weight in his heart lifted. He laughed aloud. With Jiang Chengxuan's restriction present, and the surrounding space filled with drifting golden immortal insights, it was clear what state he was in. I suppose those two, Dixiu and Chuanbing, were injured by young friend Chengxuan as well. At last, Elder Xianxia fully relaxed, piecing together the prior events. It couldn't have been a coincidence. Jiang Chengxuan's presence here was the only reason for such fortune, and the reason the other two fled in defeat. Seems this was a blessing in disguise after all, ha ha ha. Thinking of this, Elder Xianxia could no longer suppress his joy and relief. Truly, Jiang Chengxuan was his lucky star. If he hadn't braved the risk out of friendship, this opportunity would have passed him by. Buzz! Having come to this conclusion, Elder Xianxia no longer hesitated. He quickly found a suitable spot to sit in meditation. As celestial light radiated and immortal force surged, he took out one treasure after another, magical artifacts and rare materials. In an instant, the strange space became dazzling and dreamlike. These treasures were ones he had long prepared, always carried on him, ready for a breakthrough moment. Yet for tens of thousands of years, he had never been able to use them. They had only gathered dust. Now they would finally see the light of day and be put to use, fulfilling their true value. In that moment, Elder Xianxia was filled with excitement, feeling decades younger. With everything in place, he manifested his golden immortal universe and began drawing in the freely drifting golden immortal insights, clearing his mind and soul, entering a focused breakthrough state. Not long after, an extraordinary scene unfolded in the core of the ancient grotto heaven. In two separate layers of space, two golden immortal cultivators simultaneously sat in secluded meditation, both attempting breakthroughs. The might of the golden immortal realm descended upon the core of the grotto heaven, marking it as a forbidden domain. In the blink of an eye, time passed swiftly. 5,000 years had gone by since Jiang Chengxuan began absorbing and refining the golden immortal insights, and since he took the final immortal origin pill. During these 5,000 years, Jiang Chengxuan felt like a spiritual mountain or divine jade within the heavens and earth, constantly absorbing endless essence from sun and moon, comprehending the Tao, refining immortal qi. Through this, his cultivation had unquestionably reached terrifying heights. He now sat cross-legged at the center of the sacrificial realm, his golden immortal universe having expanded to engulf the entire realm. Countless stars numbering in the trillions dazzled across the sky. The universe was vast, Tao patterns crisscrossed through the void, and celestial rivers flowed with immense majesty. In this boundless cosmos, even time had lost all meaning, swallowed by the infinity of space. This was already a sign of the great Luo golden immortal realm. The great Luo realm stood above the golden immortal realm. It was the level of transcendence, undying and eternal, free and boundless. Within their personal universes, great Luo golden immortals could even give rise to the Tao of time, ensuring their soul would exist forever. It was the ultimate dream of countless cultivators. And now, after 5,000 years, Jiang Chengxuan had come unimaginably close to that level. At this moment, he had already progressed from mid-stage golden immortal through late stage and stepped into the perfection of the golden immortal realm. This was the result of two great fortuitous encounters working in tandem. Yet, Jiang Chengxuan himself was not surprised. Before the grotto heaven had even opened, he had already spent thousands of years cultivating in the mid-stage golden immortal realm, laying an incredibly firm foundation using the power of merit and faith. Chapter 1933, A Dual Breakthrough, Perfection of the Golden Immortal Realm, Part 2. Perhaps for other golden immortals, several thousand years wouldn't mean much in terms of growth. But for Jiang Chengxuan, things were different. He had access to opportunities on a whole other level, the nine-wonder Bodhi lantern, the power of merit and faith, and even the heaven-defying existence of the system. Who? At that moment, as his aura gradually stabilized, Jiang Chengxuan let out a long breath of turbid air. Instantly, the entire universe within his golden immortal domain trembled, and even the surrounding world shook in resonance. He slowly opened his eyes. Within them, a deep ancient calmness mingled with a faint trace of joy. Now, Jiang Chengxuan's strength was no weaker than the former master of this ancient golden immortal grotto heaven. What a wondrous land! With the celestial phenomena of the golden immortal universe now withdrawn, Jiang Chengxuan rose slowly, full of emotion. Strangely, he could even understand the longing of that ancient golden immortal who had tried to live another life. At this level of cultivation, he was but one step away from the great Luo golden immortal realm, just a step away from true eternity, freedom, and immortality. To die of old age at such a height, what a bitter fate that would be. Of course, Jiang Chengxuan didn't believe he would meet such an end. He was at his peak now. He had already stepped into the perfection of the golden immortal realm, and with the system assisting him on the path to the heavens, his confidence and determination toward the immortal Tao far surpassed that of others. He would not fade away into the endless river of time. It's time to leave. After a moment, Jiang Chengxuan no longer lingered. He had fully explored this golden immortal grotto heaven. With a wave of his hand, he lifted the restrictions and opened the exit of the sacrificial realm. Soaring upward, he suddenly sensed a familiar presence. Cloud Ancestor. Jiang Chengxuan was slightly surprised to sense the arrival of Elder Yunqi, Cloud Ancestor. He hadn't expected him to follow him here. Just as he exited, the elder clearly sensed his presence too and immediately came to greet him. Beaming full of warmth and laughter, he exclaimed, "Ha ha ha, I've been waiting for you a long time. Congratulations, Taoist Chengxuan. Congratulations on obtaining yet another great fortune and stepping into a realm of grand creation." Hearing this, Jiang Chengxuan also smiled, his face radiant with joy. He cupped his hands in return and replied, "Thank you for the kind words, Cloud Ancestor." Then Jiang Chengxuan also noticed that Yunqi Elder's aura was different from before, stronger and more profound. Immediately, he deduced something and offered his own congratulations. "It seems Cloud Ancestor has also gained great benefit here, breaking through a bottleneck. Congratulations indeed." Helasa. This naturally delighted Elder Yunqi even more, and he laughed heartily. He had indeed used the remnants of the ancient golden immortals' insights to smoothly break through to the mid-stage of the golden immortal realm. After all, the dispersed insights left behind were quite substantial, more than enough to help him shatter his bottleneck. This time I truly owe it to you, young friend. I originally came here intending to support you, but never expected you to have already handled everything. Smiling, Elder Yunchi recounted all that had happened since he arrived. In his words, there was a tone of gratitude and fortune, that he had ignored Elder Tianjian's decision to leave and ventured in alone. Had he missed this opportunity, he didn't know how many more years, if ever, it would take to break through. At the same time, he was glad Tianjian didn't follow. Otherwise, the two might have ended up fighting over the spoils. Many thanks for your concern, Cloud Ancestor. It seems the heavens had their own designs. Hearing this, Jiang Chengxuan was genuinely touched and acknowledged Elder Yunqi's goodwill. After all, in a place like this ancient golden immortal grotto heaven, even golden immortals might face life-or-death trials. To have a friend who genuinely worried for him in such times was a rare treasure, no matter the motivations. What lies beneath that ancient golden immortal grotto heaven? Can you tell me, young friend? Now curious about the world beneath the bronze coffin, Elder Yunqi couldn't help but ask Jiang Chengxuan. Jiang Chengxuan merely smiled, having no intention to hide anything, and began recounting the entire story. So that's what it was. No wonder this place felt so strange. These ancient golden immortals, none of them were simple, each one was terrifying beyond belief. If not for you, young friend, with your unmatched strength, that peril might have ended in disaster. Now understanding the dark secrets of the grotto heaven, Elder Yunqi was stunned, gasping in disbelief. A being nearly equal to a great Luo golden immortal had plotted to live a second life, laying out a scheme for millions of years, using golden immortals as sacrificial pawns, truly staggering. It wasn't hard to imagine what might have happened had they been drawn into that sacrificial realm. Yes, in the immortal realm things are always this way, fortune and danger go hand in hand. Jiang Chengxuan agreed, which was precisely why he always treaded carefully. And truthfully, that battle had indeed been extremely dangerous. Even he had nearly been caught off guard and suffered a loss. There are no more secrets left in this grotto heaven. Let's return to the sect. Very well, I'll follow your lead, young friend. Let's go. With that, the two no longer lingered. Satisfied and invigorated, they turned into brilliant streaks of light and soared into the sky. For the ancient realm, 5,000 years wasn't an especially long time. Thus, when Jiang Chengxuan returned to the Heoran immortal sect, aside from its increased prosperity, not much had changed. And once back, the first person he wished to see, of course, was Shen Ruyan. When he found her, she was seated in a grand hall, handling sect affairs. Sitting alone behind a jade desk, her elegant brows slightly furrowed, a faint trace of worry on her face. "My lady, I've returned." At the sound of his voice at the hall's entrance, Shen Ruyan looked up, her face instantly lighting up with brilliance. Without a moment of hesitation, she put down her work, tapped her foot lightly. Her white robes fluttered, and in a flash she flew into Jiang Chengxuan's arms like a swallow returning to its nest. "My husband, you've returned." To Shen Ruyan, nothing brought her more joy and peace than seeing Jiang Chengxuan return safely. All her worries disappeared like dust the moment she saw him. "Some unexpected events occurred. I made you wait." Holding her gently in his arms, Jiang Chengxuan's voice was soft and warm. Originally, he had planned to obtain the golden immortal insights and return to the sect before breaking through. But plans couldn't keep up with change, and 5,000 years had slipped by. Emotions welling, Jiang Chengxuan lifted Shen Ruyan in his arms, and the two sat together behind the jade desk, leaning close without speaking for a long while. Only after a long time, once their emotions had calmed, did Jiang Chengxuan begin to tell her everything that had happened in the ancient golden immortal grotto heaven. Of course, compared to what he told Elder Yunqi, he omitted the most dangerous parts. Through it all, Shen Ruyan rested in his embrace, listening more intently than even during her own cultivation. Often gasping in surprise or exclaiming in awe, completely immersed in his tale. "These two golden immortal treasures, I want you to have them. They suit you perfectly." When recounting the part about slaying the ancient golden immortal, Jiang Chengxuan smiled and produced two treasures, suspending them in the air. Instantly, the entire hall was filled with majestic immortal energy, Divine light shimmered in layers, profound and radiant. They were none other than the treasures taken from the ancient golden immortal, a treasure vase and an unnamed sacrificial curved dagger. How could I accept this? You often enter perilous battles against powerful enemies, these treasures. Seeing them, Shen Ruyan was stunned, her whole body trembling. Instead of accepting them, she tried to persuade him otherwise. To her, cultivation resources given by Jiang Chengxuan could be accepted with gratitude, since they weren't especially useful to him and served their shared goal. But these two treasures clearly had far greater value in Jiang Chengxuan's hands. Accepting them would go against her principles. However, Jiang Chengxuan had already anticipated this. With gentle reasoning, he eventually convinced her to accept both treasures. At his level, what mattered was not the quantity of treasures, but their quality. And the many treasures he already possessed were more than enough to shake the heavens.